Today is fine day in California.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Friday Night Frenzy, where everything is canon and the topics, well, they're more like a set of guidelines. Let me bring in my usual co-host, the man who rooftop Korean as his favorite gender. We have Chris Infinitail.
Hey, 안녕하세요.
Yes, and joining us for the first time, I've been a guest on his channel for a couple of times. He's let me promote some of his stuff on his channel, so now it's time to return the favor. We have the man who has the longest of boxes, which is why he gets all the girls. We have John's long box.
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for having me on.
I often like to joke, like, how did you get your wife? You showed her your long box.
Yeah,
Wait, what?
she's into my comics.
Yeah.
Your comics, yes. Your rather large comic collection. All right, so for those who don't know you, John, please introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is John. My channel is John's Longbox. I started a YouTube channel during COVID, during all the lockdowns and everything like that. Just I'm a kind of a social guy. I'm an extroverted guy, so I just wanted to talk to people, and everybody was being weird. I moved out of Queens, where everybody was scared of the air, scared of the oxygen. So I moved out to Long Island, and I just didn't know anybody. So I just turned on my YouTube and just started talking about comics. And, a couple of years later, I'm making comics. I'm talking to people. It's a lot of fun. It succeeded a lot more than I ever thought it would. For about a year and a half, almost 2 years, I was talking to like 4 people watching, commenting, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden one day, I must have hit an algorithm. I don't know what I did. But
yeah, and now you're talking to some like really important people, like you did that Mark Millar interview.
Yeah, and Phoenix Press. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
comparing me to Mark Millar. Flattery will get you everywhere, sir.
Mark Millar, such a nice guy. I had Valerie Diaz. I keep saying her name wrong. Durazio on the channel, and she was an editor of Marvel Comics, and I think she worked with Mark Millar. And Mark was just like, "Yeah, I'd like to try out this internet stuff." So she recommended me. So it's all her fault,
Oh, it's your fault. You got a big guest on,
right? Well, you know what I mean. Like, you be pleasant, you not talk to people, be fun. You know what I mean? And Valerie, if you ever watch it, come back on. It was so much fun to talk to her.
Yeah, I'm friends. I'm mutual to her on Twitter as well. I've been trying to get her to come on for a while, so you got to.
She's shy. She's
yeah,
shy.
Yeah, that's what she told me, and so yeah, I perfectly get it.
I was like inviting her for like a year before she finally came, and she was so scared. I tried to be as nice as possible, but she's coming back.
Yeah, honestly, like if you hear some of the horror stories that she shared about the industry,
yeah,
I don't blame her.
I don't blame her either, and I would love to talk about it, but I don't want to.
It's her business. It's her business.
Exactly. It's not my story to tell.
So yeah, like you said, you got a great comic book that we'll be talking about here in a little bit. Oh, you got one more thing you want to say?
Oh, I just said thank you.
Yes.
Mention
Yep. So before we go on the main topic, I think I need to explain this lump on my shoulder for those who aren't aware, I got a new little buddy. Everyone, this is Charcoal. He's a little stinker. He's my girl, and yeah, she'll be joining us for this. Wanted to show that real quick, and yeah, let's get on to this main thing. So this topic was basically spurred on by some Twitter discussions. Let's put it mildly, as a lot of topics these days are. So I don't know if you guys are aware, but this YouTuber, I think it's like Corey X Kenshin. I don't know exactly who it is, but apparently he released a comic and it sold 200K copies. Good for him, honestly. Yeah. Like, bravo. It kind of annoyed me a little bit that people are still trying to make it like, oh, people don't like a black person being successful, and like literally all the comments were like congratulating him, happy for him.
Yeah, I never heard of him, and then all of a sudden he's one of the biggest sellers. So
I mean, the same thing happened to Eric July. Like nobody had heard of Eric July. All of a sudden, he had done $1 million campaign.
Eric was part of media. You know what I mean? Eric had 200. He almost had 2 million subscribers before. You know what I mean? So nobody in the comic book world heard of him. Like I never heard of him, but he had a strong fan base.
Oh,
Apparently
dude,
this
he
guy
the
had a
backing
pretty
of
strong
Blaze
following.
Media.
I'm sorry, you were both talking.
Yeah, sorry. This kind of happens sometimes. I apologize.
Yeah, he doesn't let me talk until much later.
Months later. Oh my god! I guess I deserve that for the comments I made pre-stream. Okay, whoever wants to speak first, go.
No, I was just saying that, like, I don't put Eric July in the obscurity from nothing to sudden like big time. That man spent 10 years building himself.
Right.
Yeah, he had the full backing of Blaze Media. He had a rap album or rap rock. He just basically just leveraged his existing fans into comics. It was like,
well, apparently this guy had a large YouTube following as well. So
gotcha.
Right.
The point I'm trying to make is he's somebody that wasn't in the comic scene, and then all of a sudden they do, and now they're a player, like they're a big dog player. Like Eric July went from a successful YouTuber to one of the key people in the indie comic scene literally overnight.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's no different than Keanu Reeves being a movie star and then all of a sudden making a comic book.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He leveraged his fame, and good for him,
Yeah.
He it happens all the time. But I don't know how you feel about this guy, but Andrew Tate, he took a weird whatever he does, and,
Yeah.
I mean, I guarantee you, Andrew Tate made that comic because he saw what Eric July was doing.
Well, dude, all of them have done that. Like every YouTuber.
Whoopi Goldberg did a comic.
Well,
it's did a comic.
It's weird because it's created these weird like dynamics where you've got actually like you've got people who are focused on comics, who then foray into social media or foray into YouTube or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But the people that seem to make the most or get the biggest splash are the ones that are huge YouTubers and they just have comics as YouTube merch, like they bring it in. Mm-hmm. Or you get the people who are like ex-pros that come in and now they leverage like the indie comic, like I'm not part of the corporate anymore, like, and they bring their fans with them,
Well, think of it. It's easier to do if you have 2 million subscribers.
Yep.
I saw somewhere, and I forget
easier, but not impossible. Look at the common America people.
They say that it's you get 10% of your audience to buy your comic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So Eric July, it was a no-brainer he's going to be successful.
Yeah.
You know, Keanu Reeves, I don't know how, but how many people see his movies? He's making a comic book. You're going to get 10% of.
He's probably more popular now than he ever has been.
Everybody.
The 2000s were brutal. It was brutal for him in the 2000s. It wasn't until like the 2010s that his popularity got shot back up again.
Yeah. Good for him, But like we forget, like right now, what's Marvel and DC's? They stopped publishing the numbers because they're so bad.
Yeah.
What would be the biggest selling? What, Batman? Is Batman the biggest selling? And what are the?
I tell you, what's going to be the biggest seller this summer is going to be the Marvel swimsuit issue.
Yeah, they're trying to get the hetero market again. I think they chased them all away, to be honest. So
yeah. John, I want to ask you a question. What do you think about the swimsuit issue returning?
What's funny is I had a discussion with somebody about this. It's the lowest common denominator. I didn't get them in the 90s.
Yeah, I mean,
I was kind of I come off as a prude, but I'm not a prude. Like I fully admit that I bought Cherry Pop-Tart. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's an X-rated comic book, but I've been collecting it for 30. So I just want to establish that I'm not a prude. But
I'm totally not a prude. I have prude friends.
Right. But it's the lowest common denominator. It's a low effort.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a Hail Mary.
Yeah, well, to Marvel, first off, it's a smart business move. Marvel needs to move the needle. Marvel needs to make money. So I don't blame Marvel for doing it. But I didn't like it in the 90s. I just thought it was like, okay, a comic book is words and pictures, and now they're basically just selling a poster magazine.
Mm-hmm.
There's no story. Like if they wanted to have the X-Men, perfect. Here's what we do. Okay, us three guys, we're gonna make the X-Men. You got some of the most beautiful superhero girls in the world. Everybody
got some of the best artists on our payroll at the moment.
So you got Art Adams, and you get Storm, and you got Rogue, and you get Emma Frost and all of these people, Jean Grey, and you have an adventure on an island in the Caribbean.
Mhm.
That would interest me more than just pictures of.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
it's
that's a
better
good
to
point.
have a story that gives you an excuse to
Right,
put them in
right.
swimsuits. Like oh hey we're like I've actually thought of like a crossover, like a beat special crossover where it's like they're at a cabin up in the summer and like they have their beat stuff, but then like oh there's something under the water, you know, kind of thing. Like so it has an actual plot to it, but you get your few panels of the bikinis and whatnot.
I don't know if you're familiar with Dave Brink. He does Genuine Comics. He has a comic called Perfect 10, one of my favorite superhero comics right now.
Big fan.
But he did a beautiful, you know, thing. His main character is 10. She's the 10th synthetic human that this group made, and she's the perfect one. And the adventure opens, the comic opens, she's being released from the capsule, so she's naked. So it makes story-wise sense. I mean, it's not a porno magazine. Like there's she's covered by her arms or machinery and stuff like that. But it's basically a naked chick running around for 3/4 of the first issue before they give her a costume. So he could have just made that a pinup book, but no, he put a good story, he put good art. There was a logical reason why he did what he did, and it's a freaking awesome comic. So, like, I was just talking yesterday about all of these public domain. Like now we got a Popeye the Slayer Man movie coming out, and I hate that for the same reason. It's just no effort. Popeye is public. Like if you want to take Popeye, and you love Popeye, and you want to make like a what's his name, E.E. Seeger. If you want to make like a comic or a movie as close to that, or the Robin Williams movie, whatever, and that just because you're a super fan, go for it. But like I'm gonna take something I didn't create. And now Superman's a cannibal. What that's that to me is like stealing other people's gravitas.
Yeah, like the cool thing about the public domain is like doing really creative things like Pride and Prejudice and zombies, or like all the permutations of Robin Hood. Like the reason why I love the Robin Hood mythos is like you can just like slot in all like these different themes, archetype characters. You can slot it in. It's so malleable. You can do modern day.
Like Sherlock Holmes and like the old stuff that's like Dracula and stuff like that. If you want to make like sexy Dracula, like that's been around for 200 years, like that. But like Popeye, just boom, Popeye's free right now, and also the first thing you do with it is Popeye the molester boy. You know what I mean? You just want to make shock and awe because it doesn't matter that it's Popeye. It could have been Steamboat Willie. It could be Bugs Bunny.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean that's always going to happen when something goes like public domain is you're going to get the cheap exploitation first because people want to cash in. Like that's what we got, like Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Well, did you guys see Von Klaus's Black Terror? Terror in the Trenches?
No.
So, yeah, he took Black Terror, who's like a domain hero, and he kind of made it his own. And in all actuality, I've read both the old and the new. And I'm not trying to toss Von salad here, but like, dude, he knew how to make a modern character.
So it's good. I didn't read it. It's good.
I hear the book is the tits.
There is an explosive booby chick in it, but
I mean he called it Terror in the Trenches. That he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, it's definitely a book worth checking out. I'm definitely excited to see what he's going to do with the next one. But he took a public domain character, and honestly, like my only kind of critique would be, dude, put Von Klaus's Terror in the Trenches at the top of your title so that people can't rip you off. You know what I mean? They'll be like, oh, well, it's similar. No, it's like, dude, this is he took something that was in domain and made it his own, and I think it's better than the original.
See, that's why I wouldn't want to do public domain stuff. Then I you know what I mean? Like I don't know. Batman's going to be public domain. Like right now.
The problem is you have these characters that are technically public domain, but they have quasi like for example Zorro. I would love to do a Zorro story, but like and John Carter as well is like one of those like weird legal gray area kind of things.
Yeah, let's Batman, not just for the sake of argument. I do a Batman story, and then you do a Batman story. Then he does a filthy, disgusting Batman story, and he does a porno. Yep. People are just
all the same.
You know, it's going to tarnish what I do. You know.
Yeah,
but also
that's a very good point.
I mean, I love how this is kind of IP discussion. I mean, the topic was just a suggestion, but I like to go with the discussion. The discussion goes a certain way, then we'll go that way.
That's why I call what I do conversations rather than interviews. You know.
Yeah. Like so for me, like the problem is like okay, Batman becomes public domain. it's only that version of Batman. Like you don't get the Batmobile, you don't get
1939.
Batcave. Robin is not Robin. The Joker. So many elements are not public domain. Like same thing with Superman. Like for real, Superman didn't fly. Like that's why I have leaps tall building the single bound.
Yep.
Kryptonite only came out a few years later because of the radio show.
Right.
So many characters, like so many ideas, concepts, that we just take for granted. We're just like piecemeal added. Like I think the Batcave was the serials, like the Batman serials of the 40s added that, and Batgirl, like really didn't come about to the 60s, like the mid 60s. It was because of the TV show. Yeah, so like all these elements of characters, like we'll get the initial version, which means we'll get Batman with a gun. Oh god, that's gonna freak people out.
Like Thomas Wayne, but better.
God dang it. He's gonna use a baseball bat and go, little pig, let me in.
Yeah, I just don't want to, because like, I instead of taking Superman, I love Superman. He's my favorite comic book character. I'll just make the Patriarch instead, and he's mine.
Yeah, like we did, John, we did similar things.
Right.
Like you wanted to create your own kind of Superman characters. He created the Patriarch.
Right.
Me, I wanted to create my own Batman type character. So I created Screech. We're both literally doing the same thing.
Right. It's not that hard. It's kind of easy. You know what I mean? Like, because I was just like, okay, what is Superman? And I keep thinking of Kingdom Come. Like, Superman is the father figure of all the superheroes, and Kingdom. That's what it's all about. Superman went to the farm, and all the superheroes became brats, and then Daddy had to come back and give everybody a spanking on the butt. That's Come in a nutshell. So I was like, he's the Patriarch, and then I was like, oh, there's my character.
Nice.
that was it. So if you can't come up with your own character, don't swipe public domain. I don't know.
Well, look at
Swipe is a mean word. They're not swiping. They're doing nothing wrong. But I find it's easy to make your own character. You like Doc Savage? Make up another guy that's like Doc Savage.
The only reason you use public domain is kind of the name recognition. Like, for example, I have an idea for a Robin Hood story set in modern day, But, like, the thing about Robin Hood is it opens itself to those kind of twists. So, like, I could make a interesting Robin story.
Weird, but I look at Robin Hood as, like, he's been public domain for hundreds of years. So he's almost like Thor or Zeus. It's mythological. Whereas Conan,
he's a little more of a folktale kind of thing.
Yeah. Like nobody owns it. It belongs to the public. Yeah, I mean, I know that's what public.
It belongs to the people.
But like,
they bring tropes with them. Yeah.
Like right now, people don't realize, but the Submariner is public domain. Marvel doesn't talk about it, but the Submariner is public domain. But I wouldn't want to touch the Submariner because he's still too closely related to Marvel. And I love Marvel, even though modern Marvel drives me nuts. I don't want
to. It's the same reason why most people still don't do anything with Mickey, because Steamboat Willie is public domain, and like even if you crossed your T's, dotted your I's, and you had a perfectly legal version, Disney would still sue the crap out of you.
Yeah.
And even if you're perfectly legal, they could still find a way.
Like, I don't know if you're familiar with Eric Larson's The Savage Dragon.
I've heard of it, yeah.
There's something wrong with Eric Larson.
Yeah, that's pretty obvious.
The Savage Dragon's wife, she's naked at a pride parade. I'm not joking. This is the comic devolved into full-on porn, and Mickey Mouse comes up and sexually assaults her.
Is Eric Larson trying to like make some sort of like meta commentary about how he got effed over by Disney?
But all I got to say is it's just shock value, and it's lazy. It's the lowest common denominator. It's like making a comic called Star Whores or Boobs. It's full effort.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like when everyone in the 2010s realized the Wizard of Oz was public domain, and then you saw like this rash of like Wizard of Oz comics in like the late 2010s, early 2020s. And some of them were good, some of them were but they died off pretty quickly.
Yeah, well, Eric Weathers has a take on Wizard of Oz too, Battlebrook Road.
Yeah. It's funny because I'm very protective of Wizard of Oz. I love the Wizard of Oz. I have a story in mind using the Wizard of Oz, but not set in Oz. Literally, they're using the book. That the book has a code in it that's revealing something. It's all written in code. Peter Barry was an alchemist, and he has this Wizard of Oz as an alchemical formula, but he couldn't release it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm all for like kind of cool takes on public domain. Like for example, I mentioned Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies. I thought like okay, like it's the title is just so ridiculous. But like I've only seen the movie to be honest. But like the movie, like the integrated, is so kind of cool. It's like I don't know. I like original takes on public domain. I like the creativity that comes with it.
Another thing that gets to my nerves is Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter. That was clever, but now that went down to like Cotton Mather's Frankenstein Destroyer. It's like,
I mean, then you get like, and then also I love it when they like integrate it with like real life stuff. Like, what if Jack the Ripper was a vampire?
Yeah,
those kind of
Gotham
things.
by Gaslight too.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, Jack the Ripper is kind of like a quasi public, like it's a public domain character. Like, I mean, he actually existed.
Yeah, he's a historical figure. You can do whatever you want with him.
Yeah, I also loved. I want to do a Jack the Ripper story, but I think I would be like, that's trite. It's been done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, Jack the Ripper is such a. It's the same thing with Dracula. Like Dracula's been public domain, and there's been so many different permutations of Dracula. It's like, how do you make something original with Dracula?
Yeah, I wouldn't touch Dracula with a 10-foot pole. I use vampires, but not Dracula. Like Frankenstein, I wouldn't touch. I would use werewolves, but not the universal monster.
I've gotten an original idea with werewolves. I've actually got a comic idea to do the Dracula novel, but have it be like my universe and kind of have it be like an origin for like a supernatural team or whatever. But that's future stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. Dracula, like some things have just been done to death, and
Dracula, he's dead and loving it.
Right. No, did you see that Nosferatu movie?
I didn't see it. This is the problem with modern movies. Now we're going on to another topic that I could rant and rave about. My wife and I love to go to movies, but we don't go to them because we don't know they're out. I didn't know that Nosferatu was out until people started talking about it, and it was like out of the theaters in my area. Movie people, let people like me who love to go to the movies know your movies are in the theater.
The funny thing about Nosferatu is it's kind of like a remake of a remake, because like Nosferatu was like all right, we don't have the rights to Dracula, so let's just like change a few things and don't tell anybody.
Yeah, it was a 1923 black and white movie.
Yep.
Yeah, Count Orlok or whatever.
Yeah, it was good. I saw it for film school class. I took a couple.
Yeah,
it's
really good when you get like a techno score on it. That's great.
This modern take, dude, like you didn't miss anything. It was basically a giant naked zombie that like gets summoned by a bored housewife and then basically inflicts a plague on London. And in order to end the plague, it needs to bang this bored housewife. And they show a zombie banging a chick.
Oh.
So it's Bram Stoker's Dracula on steroids.
It was so disgusting. I was like you're not even like, if you look at the one that had like Winona Ryder in it and stuff, at least it had some cool kind of
was awesome. Francis Coppola's Dracula. I freaking love that movie.
I love the genesis of Dracula in that, like his armor.
Sega.
What's up?
You said the genesis.
Yeah. I loved the world that he created in that. It's staged, like it felt like a stage play.
It's opera. If you watch that movie and think of it that you're going to the opera, because there's a couple of things that my friends complained about. Like there was a scene where the train was going, and it was obviously a model.
Yeah.
And I was just like, well, it's supposed to be an opera. And he was like, I don't care. I don't want to.
And you got like one of the best shots in movies that nobody were talking about, like when he's on the train and you see the eyes in the background. Like that is like one of the best shots in movies and nobody talks about it.
Well, and then there's a couple of mistakes. Like there's one scene where Keanu Reeves has gray hair, and then the next scene he didn't have gray hair.
Yeah.
And then, but I love it. But overall, the joy I get out of that, because I'm a nitpicker, the joy I get out of that outweighs the nitpicky mistakes that there's a fine line.
And like I love Van Helsing just because it's big dumb fun.
It's schlocky. It's good and schlocky, and it's
schlocky. And it's sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say it's good and schlocky, and it does what it set out to do. It entertains you. It's
entertaining.
Too seriously.
It is definitely a turn your brain off and have fun kind of movie.
Right. Yeah. And in that way, it succeeds. There's a lot of movies that I know are just objectively bad, but you just love, You know,
Yeah, and I wouldn't even say Van Helsing is so bad it's good. I think it's just a big dumb fun movie.
right.
Which-
It's like Monster
It's
Squad.
a B movie. Hey, Crenshaw's here. It's a B movie.
Hey, Crenshaw.
Crenshaw,
Hey.
did you get the package yet? I sent him a package of stuff.
All right, real quick, we're going to highlight some comments. We have Jason gonna be like, "Looks like we haven't had a Dracula in space movie yet." I swear I've seen something like that.
Yeah, wasn't there an 80s movie about that?
Dracula in space.
Not Dracula, but wasn't Life Force about
Yeah, a
aliens?
vampire. Yeah, a hot naked chick in space. Yeah, I'll
Oh
take
my
it.
Hello.
That woman still has. There's something about her proportions that make her the sexiest woman.
Yep, giggity.
Matilda
Oh.
May, I think is her name, the actress. Yeah, I haven't
We
watched
got,
it 100 times on HBO when I was.
yeah, we got Insomnia here.
Strictly research.
But the Demeter, that was another movie I wanted to watch. It was set in the Dracula novel when Dracula was on the ship coming to England.
Yeah.
I thought that would be a great premise for a movie, and I didn't even think of it until you guys were talking about Dracula.
Yeah, like honestly, the whole ship thing, it's only like briefly mentioned in
Right.
like the books and whatnot. But that feels like a horror novel in of itself.
Right.
Like imagine you're
Yeah.
a sailor
I was
on
like,
the
oh,
ship and all of a sudden
somebody
people start
finally made this
disappearing.
and it adds a whole nother layer of fear is that you're trapped on a boat.
Yeah, you can't swim for it.
You know,
Yeah, like honestly, if I were to make a novel, I'd literally just write a book from like a sailor's journal. A sailor on that ship with Dracula as he slowly kills off everyone on the
Hey,
boat.
that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dracula, like, what have we done? What have we done?
you know what's funny? I always wanted to make like one of those Survivor TV shows, like a TV show, but one of them is a serial killer.
Yes.
You know,
So there's
and they're literally
there's a
like
killer
in the-
among us.
yeah, they're like literally in the Congo where they can't leave, or oh wow, you know,
Yeah.
just, they're at the
Agatha
front
Christie.
wall Survivor, and one of them's a cannibal.
I
Did
feel
you
like
ever
you
read
could
And
use
then
the-
there were none.
Yeah.
I feel like you could use like the Among Us formula to kind of create that kind of game. That would be interesting.
Well, yeah. That's the 10 little Indians formula.
Yeah.
Agatha Christie did it. It was freaking awesome. You know, you had no idea who it was, and you kept thinking, "Oh, it's this one, it's this one, it's this one," and then at the end, it's like, "It was that one."
There was a comic book of these astronauts that went into space, and there was 13 of them on the ship, and they went through some sort of storm, and it erased their, the cosmic rays or whatever, it messed up all their computer, so they were reformatting everything, and they, like, what do you like? They didn't really know each other. And then they found out that there was only supposed to be 12 passengers.
Uh-oh.
Who was the 13th person who was the murderer? It was fun. Good.
Nice.
So speaking of some killer comics, killer in terms of like the quality, not necessarily the content. John, would you like to tell us about the Patriarch? That is like the worst segue I've ever done.
So I'm making a comic called Heroic Tales. The campaign for issue 2 is live on Fund My Comic. And like I was saying earlier, I got kind of annoyed with Marvel and DC and mainstream movies, and I was thinking I want to make my own comic book, and I want to pay homage to Superman. So I came up with a character called the Patriarch, and I also got tired of in just Western culture in general. We're always pooping on the dads.
Evil, and also the evil Superman stuff too. Yeah,
the father in every sitcom is a moron. The husband is a jerk. The wife is always insulting the husband and stuff like that. So I was just like, and then you hear toxic masculinity. So I came up with a character called the Patriarch, where he's the best of everything masculine. He's a good father. He's a loving husband. He's a beloved superhero. So he's not a Mary Sue, because he's, I talk about his. People get mad when I talk about, he get beat by Spider-Man, but he's a good guy. Like, he wants to spend the day with his family. But he's a superhero and he's got things to do. He's got to save everybody, kind of thing. He takes it seriously. So he's like the Patriarch. He's the father figure of a town called Science City, which is located just outside of Yuma, Arizona.
Hello.
Yep, that's him and his wife. That's what he wants to do all day long. Don't you? He has 7 kids.
Yeah, I mean, that is the guy's dream: marry a hot woman and just bang her the rest of your life.
Right. They live out in a farm, so they homeschool, they homestead, because as you can see right here, the wife has an injury that I didn't talk about yet. That's going to be in I'll
Alright.
bring up that later. So there's a
I
reason,
do like how you tastefully censor with the sides, like
right? And
like,
there'll also be word balloons to cover it up a little bit more. Yeah.
Nice.
ooh,
and,
cheeky.
and so she's saying, "Oh, cool. You're gonna take the day off. The kids would love to spend the day with you. I'll make breakfast." And when she comes out of the shower, he's gone. Why? Because he turned on the news and he saw that this little kid fell down a hole in the ground.
Timmy fell down the well.
Yeah, he fell down the well, and well, not a well. It's in the middle of a baseball field. The kid was pitching, and also he just collapsed. And he's been down there for 18 hours. And of course, where are you? So the mayor says, "What have you been doing that you couldn't be here?" And the patriarch,
My wife.
yeah, he can't say what he's doing. So now he goes down, and then then we cut to the next story. Each issue has 2 stories. So this is Mary Sue. So I wanted to Heroic Tales is going to be 2 stories in every issue. 2 different characters, 2 complete stories. $10, guys. You're getting $5 a story, 2 covers.
Value.
It's the equivalent of 2 comics. So Mary Sue, I was goofing on the idea of every female character is a Mary Sue these days. So I was thinking of like Ray Palpatine and everything, and I'm like, I want to make up a character that's perfect. She has,
I like this shirt. Like, actually, I need this shirt.
Yeah, it's available on the campaign. So Mary Sue is perfect. So the tagline is, "Where do you go when you're already perfect?"
Yeah.
So she gets godlike powers, and she realizes. Well, she doesn't realize this yet because it's still her origin. But there's a consequence to having this much power. That she does something in this issue that I'm hoping people get. The people who read it, they understand what Mary Sue did. And then the second appearance, which would be Heroic Tales 3, it's the consequences of what she did.
Okay.
So she's perfect. She's Chinese American, 3rd generation. Her grandparents fled Mao Zedong. They were Roman Catholic, and Mao Zedong wanted everybody to be atheist. So you had either convert, die, or flee. And her family chose flee. They came to Queens, New York. They were poor, and they're the American dream, to the point where Mary Sue grew up wealthy. So she's super intelligent. She has multiple PhDs. She's 22 years old. She's cute. She's perfect. You know what I mean? But she's also a good girl. She doesn't drink. She doesn't smoke. She's never had a boyfriend, never been kissed, because she's perfect in the eyes of her grandmother. Are you a doctor yet? Are you a doctor yet? Well,
Why you not doctor?
Yeah, she's got
Pokemon Master? Why no Pokemon PhD?
So now she gets the ultimate power. And
I think Chris is feeling this.
Yeah, it's really good, guys. It's so good. I sent out advanced copies to a couple of my friends, and a couple of them make comics, and they went, "Your first issue went from a rookie comic book writer, and now you're a guy that makes like it reads like 1,000." To the point, Mike Barron just said, "Let me read your comic." So before we went live, I just sent a digital copy to Mike Barron.
That's high praise.
Well,
he didn't praise it yet, for all I know, but for Mike Barron to be interested,
Yeah.
I didn't say, "Hey, you want to read this?" So that's a good sign.
Well, I think.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I think something that you were showing on that screen that really, wasn't really emphasized, but I think is admirable and worthy of mention, is that you were mentioning that there's 2 issues within each book.
Yeah, there's 2 complete stories within each book.
So you're getting, what I noticed was, it's not just, okay, I reached the end of one story and then I go to the next. It's a flip over book.
Correct.
And nobody else is doing that, dude. Like, you literally have 2 books in one. Like, you could flip it over and be like this or this.
It's like the old Marvel Showcase books.
Yeah, Marvel Showcase. That's the one. Thank you. I was racking my mind to remember who else did it. Yeah. Right now, Jason Sandberg is doing it with Jupiter. He's the only. Tim Seeley's doing it with Local Man on Image Comics. So I was just like, oh wow, a flip book. So I got to deal with reversing the files, stuff like that. So So I got
as a person who's done pre-press, I can only imagine the pain.
Yes, 6.5 years and counting.
So yes, I got to get a physical proof and make sure everything's legit. But there's 2 things. There's 3 things that made me. First off, I still believe that comic books should be affordable.
Mm-hmm.
I think crowdfunding is great. It's a gift that it allows people like me and Nick to make our own comics. but I don't think we should be charging $35 for a 30-page comic book. That's just not sustainable,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
I refuse to raise the price, even though people were telling me I should have. So my comic's $10. I also didn't make 4 versions. I made 2 versions, but each version has 2 covers.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, you could.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Where you have a person, they do a campaign, there's like 15 different covers. Like, come on.
Yeah. or they launch another campaign based solely for the cover.
Yeah.
And it's like, really?
I mean, my first campaign, I had 5 covers. I went a little carried away. But I did have legendary guys that I absolutely loved, like Michael T. Gilbert and Pat Broderick.
I mean, to be fair, those do bring eyes on your project. Like, because actually, like, you get like somebody who has a following that you pay them to do a cover because they tweet it out. Like they'll help share your campaign. It's a great marketing tool, and it's worth the price. You get a good quality cover, and because there are people who will buy like let's say get like Joam Sontag. There are people who buy anything that Joam Sontag does.
Yeah, it's a name, it's a brand. Yeah,
right.
It's sad. It's tough though because it's like I've been ghosted by so many of the big guys. I'm like, hey, could you? I got the money. Would you like to do a cover? And then crickets. It's like, oh,
it happened, man.
But I wanted to scale down everything, make it a little bit more streamlined, make it because I just went nuts because you never get a chance to make your first comic book again. So I was like, I'm doing whatever I want.
I am so far beyond that now, but I get the feeling.
I loved it. Like, I don't see it as a novelty so much as a part of the brand because you're calling it Heroic Tales. You're not calling it the Patriarch.
Right. That's another thing I was going to bring up was I don't know if you're familiar with the Astro City. It's one of my favorite comics, Kirk B6. And every issue had every 2 issues or whatever had a different character and a different story. But that came out monthly, so he could afford, okay, you like this character? Well, 2 or 3 months he'll be back. So I was going to do the Patriarch, and then issue 2 was going to be just solely Mary Sue. And then issue 3 is going to be solely the Raven, who's like Batman character. He could be hanging out with Preacher kind of guy.
Getting coffee.
But people were just like, no, we don't want Mary Sue. We want the Patriarch.
Oh my God. I was the same way. Because like I was doing like the Sworn Samurai comic and that was getting like some success. But then it came out the Screecher and like everyone just kind of latched onto the Screecher.
Right.
And I've done Sworn Samurai since then, but like it does okay. And so it's like, all right, you want Screecher? Fine, right. I'll give you more Screecher.
Like I don't know if you're familiar with Richard Schmeier, Diversity Comics.
Oh yeah.
He did Jawbreakers, and then he didn't follow up Jawbreakers for like 5 years. Yep. It's like people want Jawbreakers, make more Jawbreakers. He followed up with a bunch of indie crap that wasn't that good.
Oh no,
I think it damaged his brand.
So what you do is if you have something that hits, you do that. Correct. And then you do the other stuff as a side project. Hopefully they hit. So if they don't, you still have your main thing.
So what I'm doing is I was like, okay, so I announced that the Patriarch was going to be the flagship character and he was going to be in every issue of Heroic Tales. But I'm like, but that's going to put back all of these characters. I need to tell their story. So I said, you know what? Patriarch gets his own book. So this Patriarch, my next campaign is going to be Patriarch #1. It's going to tell his origin. I still didn't tell his origin yet. So he gets his own book-sized comic to live in. And then Heroic Tales is going to go back to exactly what I wanted it. Two different characters every issue. I think just because I'm a little crazy, I think I might do the same pattern. Patriarch are 2 stories. So Mary Stu will get 2 stories. Raven will get 2 stories. You know what I mean? And then...
I mean, what you're essentially doing is an anthology book.
Well, it's a universe.
Yeah. So, and then like, somebody's calling me, of course, now that I'm live. But
every time.
Like I am convinced that my character that I'm going to introduce in issue 4 is going to be the breakout character. It's going to be people that have no idea who I am. They're going to see a picture or whatever, and they're going to be like, "What is this?" So, I'm excited. But I got 1 million. I'm not joking. I got issue 10 of Heroic Tales up to 10 plotted.
Oh God, you're just like me. It's like. I have like 1 million different ideas. I have like scripts for like 5 different characters, like storylines written out. It is
same here, man. I got 30 years plus worth of stories just sitting there waiting to be translated.
This is all based on a superhero role playing game that me and my friends have been playing since 1983.
Oh, nice.
So a lot of these, it's funny because my friend Jimmy's just like, oh, I was on that adventure. Like my friend Jimmy fought Dr. Robug, the bad guy from the first issue, years before.
Mhm.
And then we were just talking with my buddy Mike, who's making his own comic, because the bad guy the Patriarch fights is the Subterranean. He rules the caverns below science. He's like, oh yeah, I fought the Subterranean. So and for stretch goals, I'm making like cards. So on the back they have their role playing stats. So if anybody,
oh, nice.
yeah, you can pick it up. And it's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it. I don't think I could maintain more than 2 comics. You know what I mean? Because I want Renzo to draw everything, but he's only human and he's got other commitments.
Yeah, at that point, you just gotta like spin up another team, which that definitely, and if you have the funds for it, cool. But
yes, I'm probably gonna do. Renzo's gonna do the Patriarch, and then Renzo's gonna get a pick of one of the 2 stories in Heroic Tales.
Nice.
And then I've been already talking with people like, would you be available? And if we get to that point.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw Romo in there in your credits.
Yeah, Ron Mosicki, he did the backup in Heroic Tales 1. He did the suit.
Nice.
The suit is I just thought this was funny one day. Like, what if you went into like a used clothing store? And this literally happened to me. I went and I bought a pair of jeans back when I was broke in a used clothes store, and it said inspected by 666.
Uh-oh.
Do I buy the devil jeans? Well, I had to buy the devil jeans. So I always thought of that. So that's the origin of the suit. Is he goes into an interview and his suit says inspected by 666. And as he's walking out, people are staring at him. He's like a charisma magnet. He gets the top. And then to top it off, whatever he needs is in the pocket of the suit. So the guy's telling him, you're not hired. And he puts his hand in his pocket. He's like, what the hell is this? And it's a Polaroid with some damning information about it. Okay, you can.
So you're the one who had his hand in the cookie jar.
Yeah, things like that. Where did you get that? So and
that's awesome.
And right now he makes a decision. I could turn him into the police and become a good guy, or I could do the easy way. He chose the easy way out. And
blackmail.
So he's the mayor of Science City. He's basically a servant of the devil, because that's how I feel about the politician.
Yeah, amen.
Speaking of suits, sorry, I'm trying to like not acknowledge it, but it's funny. The Patriarch suit, like I really love the design of it. What was kind of your inspiration for like the design of it?
Okay, that's funny. First off, I have a degree in Roman history.
Oh,
I wanted to be a college professor, so I'm that meme like last year. Men always think of the Roman Empire. Well, it's 100 years true. I'm constantly thinking of the Roman Empire. I got a stack of Rome books right over here. So when I came up with the name of the Patriarch, I'm like, that's a Latin Greek word. I feel like devil made by okay. So
no, they're made by instead of Jinko, they're made by Dinko. It displaces a J with a D.
So it's like he's got a Greek Roman name. So then, of course, gave him the Roman insignia, and then the purple for the Roman emperor, the gold, and then the white was pure good guy. And that's always been my theory for superheroes: is the least amount of lines on a superhero costume is best.
Yeah. The kiss method. Keep it simple, stupid.
Keep it simple, stupid. Keep the costume design as simple as possible. Like would Jack Kirby have drawn this? Is the way I look at it. Like Jim Lee, he's beautiful, but there's too many lines in a Jim Lee costume.
I gotta say that's kind of been my problem with Marvel. Their suits are like way over designed. Like I remember I was watching Wakanda Forever, and like they had like the new Black Panther suit, and it just there was just way too many lines on that. There were like stuff going over.
Peter Superman, there's too many lines.
Yeah. It's a Marvel suit, but it was like the original Black Panther suit, even like the original, and in the movie, it looks good. It's just like the black suit with some muscle, and they got the claws with the silver, like makes it like really sharp because it pops. Oh gosh, like I love the Black Panther. Like even the older Black Panther suits, they just had like this regal
Black
feeling.
Panther suit that was drawn by Jack Kirby in Fantastic Four 53. you know, it was just a skin tight cat suit. It had ears. And then what I loved is it was just all black. And then the gloves had these lines.
Yeah.
It was perfect. And then he had a little strap over here with a tiny cape. Perfect. And he didn't have kinetic absorption and laser power and stuff like that. He was a stealthy cat-based guy. Like I hate when Batman wears armor, and I hate this new Black Panther that you hit him and he reabsorbs and that's Iron Man. He's not Iron Man. He's the Black Panther. He's supposed to, you're not supposed to punch Black Panther. He's not supposed to get hit by a laser because
Black Panther is supposed to punch you.
Right. You're firing at him and he's already dodged.
It's a ninja versus a knight.
He's a stealth hero, not a tank.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do wonder. Like, I'm sure Black Panther and Spider-Man have fought a couple times. That seems like a good matchup.
Yeah, Spider-Man.
Because like Spider-Man, he's not necessarily as like he does sneak, but Spider-Man is like the ultimate like acrobatic dodging character.
Right.
Well,
like Daredevil and Black Panther. But I think Black Panther would have the edge because he's got his power from basically super steroids. So Black Panther and Captain America is probably a better matchup.
Oh yeah, very similar. Yeah.
But Spider-Man could beat them both.
He holds back.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, Spider-Man is not quite like Superman level strength. Like how does he fare against the Hulk? Like I don't know like the power scaling because I know he's like.
I had the book on it for a while. It should like Namor was at the top.
It's funny that you say that because at 8:30 on Friday nights I do It's Clobbering Time, and this is exactly what we talk about: who would win.
I know Marvel.
If the Hulk, all the Hulk has to do is land one punch.
Yeah.
I know like the thing the Hulk are often like viewed as comparable.
Right.
Like their power is often viewed as like kind of like evenly matched almost.
But what could Spider-Man do that hurts the Hulk? You can't punch him. I mean, he can punch him, but Hulk laughs that off. What's he gonna do? Web him? He's gonna web him, and then Hulk's
gonna rip him.
Right off the wall.
I mean, he could survive against the Hulk because he could dodge Hulk's stuff really easily.
Yeah, but I would say Hulk. Hulk wins.
Well, yeah, Hulk is a force of nature.
Right.
I mean, yeah,
and that's the thing. Like Hulk, Spider-Man versus Iron Man. Like that is one where Peter wouldn't hold back. He could just rip off the armor.
Yeah, exactly. We've seen that too. We've seen that. There's precedence. So,
but Superman beats the Hulk because Superman can fly.
Yeah.
And also, like Superman does have like the strength. He could like go toe to toe with strength with the Hulk.
So he flies, he swoops, he hits the Hulk. They grapple. Next thing you know, they're in space. All Superman has to do is break free somehow.
Yep.
The fight that I always found interesting was
floats in space. The fight's over.
Spider-Man versus Batman.
Spider-Man.
Because the only thing I could think of is Spider-Man. Batman could use his batarangs to cut the webs.
No. Here it is. If there's no prep, Spider-Man.
There you go. There's the magic word. Batman is the only superhero people allow prep time.
Yeah.
And I call BS on that. Every superhero with prep time beats any other superhero without prep time. So
I don't think it would be. I think it's like a.
No, but Batman has
4 to
1
6.
edge.
4 to 6. Batman can think on his feet.
No. Here's the thing, though: is Batman isn't really a superhero,
right?
That's why he gets afforded the prep. I mean, the idea is that like Batman could take out Superman if he wanted to. He has it in his files.
So could a Girl Scout with kryptonite.
Exactly, but Batman knows
no. A Girl Scout sells Clark kryptonite. Girl Scout.
No, but like here's the thing: is like Batman is actually a very cowardly, vigilante or whatever. Like he isn't about direct confrontation. When he is in direct confrontation, that's the end stage of his plans. And when they fail, they fail miserably. Like you get like the Bane situation, but like. The problem is he's playing 4D chess before the match even begins. Whereas most of these superheroes, they're like, oh, I'm intelligence or whatever. I would like to see if there really is like an intelligent power scale that could be comparable because we talk about giving prep to these, like give everybody prep essentially, but are they smart enough to do anything with it?
Right. I'll say this: if Batman has prep time, he'll beat most of the people. But if Ben Grimm has prep time, he'll beat most of the people too. Ben Grimm,
he's a genius.
Spider-Man, this is a guy who at 16 years old, like if those web shooters were real things, he would be a billionaire.
Yeah, he would.
So
Yeah,
so
Thin mints are his kryptonite. Tagalongs are my kryptonite.
absolutely,
Like those peanut butter
here we go.
ones.
Team tag along all the way.
Tagalongs are like freaking crack to me. Like it is so bad that if I do not physically think about it, or like somebody stops me, I can just mindlessly eat the whole thing in one sitting. They're so freaking good.
Yeah. But Spider-Man, in no prep time, Spider-Man beats Batman hands down all the time. You know,
wouldn't even break a sweat.
right?
Well, the thing with Batman is, and the thing with Spider-Man is, they can think on their feet. You know, like you can see, like, okay, he's using his web.
Batman just doesn't have the power to back it up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he has nothing to enforce his on the feet things. If he runs out of gadgets, he runs out of like little gambits that he's been planning. You get the Bane scenario,
right?
You know, and that's why he fails catastrophically.
So I guess we're renaming this stream because it had nothing to do with manga.
Which kind of
I might have to like rename this and redo it after the stream.
And I got to leave in a minute because I have another stream.
Oh yeah. Wait, it was good having you on, man.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thanks for having me on.
Let me ask you this:
you away from manga.
If you could have the Patriarch crossover with any established comic book character, who would it be and why?
Captain Marvel, Shazam.
Wow.
Yeah. You mean Ms. Marvel?
No, Shazam.
Shazam, Billy Batson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Captain Marvel, Shazam.
And why is that?
Because first off, Billy Batson says the magic word, it becomes this wholesome adult.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the Patriarch is. Like,
and let me guess, the Patriarch would be able to suss out, like, you're actually a kid, aren't you?
No, not only that. I just think that they would be similar. Like if Billy Batson was to grow up and allowed to become 45 years old, he would be the Patriarch. He would be a good dad. He would,
and I could see Billy Batson looking up to the Patriarch as well.
Yeah, so I could see them being like kindred spirits, like same with Superman, but that's too obvious. I love Captain Marvel, the original Billy Batson. You know, Shazam.
Wow, that's cool, man.
That's one character I told people in the 90s. I wrote like a big treatment and sent it to DC. You know, like me, a kid that was. I of course I never heard anything from him, but I was like dude, Captain Marvel's wrong. You know,
it happens.
So so I have my own version of Captain Marvel, and I'm doing like a goofy Silver Age DC comic. You know, it's called Eddie is Doomed, and it's Eddie. He's a it's set in the real world. Eddie has to leave his parents' house because his dad's retiring. So Eddie's freaking out. He's 35 years old. He has to move out of his house. And then he goes to the comic book store and he finds out Crisis on Infinite Earths is happening, but it's called the Doomed Earth. So top 10 comics is Top Comics is changing its continuity. It's ending and it's going into the modern age. So Eddie cannot get any relief. So I want to make comics of the top 10 because me and Oscar designed them, and they're too good not to use. Just as a character, and one of them is going to be Captain Mighty in the Mighty family. They're my of Captain Marvel.
Captain Mighty. Are you going to have Mary Mighty?
Yeah, Mary Mighty, but she'll probably be Marie Mighty just to change it up a little bit. Yeah. Mighty Boy,
Mighty Boy,
Mighty Marvel Jr.,
Mighty Mutt. You know.
Yeah.
I gotta go. Oscar's gonna be waiting for me. I got 3 minutes to launch.
All right, tell him I said hi.
Have a good one, man.
Thanks a lot. Bye, everybody. How do I?
Yep. Sweet.
Oh yeah, I love like seeing more people and enter the space. And what he's doing is like really great. So if you can, link is in the comments. Please back Heroic Tales. And support John's Long Box. So let's get to the main event here. Literally an hour in. So basically, this whole thing was like we're talking about people like insisting that their comics are manga, and having this debate. And my opinion is manga is a cultural output. You know, like manhwa is Korean, bande dessinée is French. It is something made in Japan by Japanese people for Japanese people. You know, it's a very, it's tied to the country. The thing that I had problems with is people are saying it's a style. it's a truth. It's a lie hidden in a truth. You know how some people kind of do that thing, where like they say something that's technically true, but like not really. And then they also say, "Oh, manga's just Japanese for comics." It's again technically correct, but like it's masking a whole different thing. You know?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's definitely a good argument for saying that manga is an institution of Japan, but in my opinion, it's like manga is like its origin is in Japan, but people can appropriate it if you want to use the Marxist terms, but like people can kind of make it their own. Like I played mahjong that was made by a Dutch guy. I've played baseball in Japan. Baseball is an American institution. Like there's all of these. Hell, like everything may have its origin, but in this global economy that we live in now, it does seem very kind of retrograde to think that something has to stay in its origin. And what we had mentioned prior to the stream was it was like, well, we could just call it American manga or inspired by manga or whatever. And yeah, I fully back that. But the idea is that media is not a static entity. It can't be one thing and only one thing.
I agree with that, but the word manga, when you think of manga, you think of like the Japanese, the high quality. And the problem
low quality. That's the point of manga, is it's low quality.
Well, don't tell that to the people trying to like glop it in. But the problem is the word has certain connotations that, in my opinion, people are trying to like latch onto, because manga is kicking ass in America.
Yep.
Okay. And people want to be part of the manga section. I mean, hell, that was one of the reasons I did 2100 Samurai. I was going to put it in a manga digest, and I knew that if I put it into a manga digest and I got into Barnes and Noble, the idiots be like, "Well, it's manga shaped, so let's put it in the manga section," and I have a lot more sales because of it, because they, I've been to Barnes and Noble like a few weeks ago. I did that video series, and like they literally kind of just shoved the comics into a corner where it's not visible. You have to seek it out. Whereas manga, it's like a threefold kind of thing. It is very visible.
Well, if people want it, give them what they want. And like I'm making a manga edition of Infinitale, and one thing
I have no problem with that.
Yeah, the thing is though, is like manga has, it's not just the visual aesthetic. It's not just the art style. The big eyes, the small mouths, the katakana, or the kanji or whatever. No, it's the way the stories are told. Like you get a very progressive story that's how to explain this? Like manga is very content is king, not quality is king. And what they do in Japan is they work these people to the bone, the mangakas, and they shit out these massive numbers of manga. We in the West, in America, we only see the stuff that filters through and survives. But over in Japan, there is a bazillion manga. There's a manga for everything. They have like genres like Bishijo, the beautiful girl, or Bishujo, or like shonen, which is the one we're more
into. Shonen, shoujo.
Yep.
Then we have the Yuri.
Oh yeah, the yaoi.
Yaoi.
The josei.
Oh god, yes. Every 2000s and 2010s anime girls' favorite genre, the yaoi. Like, have you heard the crazy yaoi fangirl like parody song?
Yeah, but like a lot of like what makes manga so powerful and why I think it's succeeding is because it adopts the fail quickly or the fail fast method, where you get magazines like Shonen Jump, okay, where they literally vote. They it's like an anthology magazine. It's like 6 or 7 of these like manga, and they're like, you've got your headline manga, which they know is a big hit because it's already been screened. People are going to buy this Shonen Jump magazine because it's got My Hero Academia in it. It's got, One Piece or one of these big guys in there. But it's also got a bunch of these no names, these unproven ones. And at the end of the week, at the end of the month or whatever, actually, I think it is the end of the week. I'm not sure. But they go through and they're like, vote for this. Which ones do you want to see? And you get instant feedback. People are like, nope, this one sucks, or this one's awesome. This one's great. This one's great. And all the ones that don't get voted, they die out, and they die like, completely undignified death. They made one shitty 10-page whatever in the back of Shonen Jump, and we never seen it again. and that's why it succeeds, because you've
The
got peer
cream
review.
always rises to the top.
Yeah, and
Sorry.
that where Western comics don't get that luxury, because
Well, at least they do. Oh,
Sorry.
shut up, Otacon. Shut up.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but like not only do Western comics not get that level of kind of instant feedback, but like Western comics, this is what I was saying about quality. Western comics generally have a lot higher production values, and that's to their detriment. Like if you actually grabbed a manga, if you went to Japan and grabbed a manga from from the bookshop,
Disposability.
it's very disposable. It's newsprint, it's line art, and the reason why the art is so good is because you have very few brushstrokes or very few lines in this, so they all need to be very intentional. They have stroke width, they have all of these visual language things that Westerners they understand it as well, but when you can rely on higher print quality and color and all these other things to help your image, you don't have to have as simplistic designs.
And here's the thing, everything you said applied to comics pre 1980.
Yeah,
Except because like if you look at comics pre direct sales, it's like looking at an entirely different art form. Flat colors, because they printed on newsprint themselves. Flat colors. The inking is doing like most of the work. Like I was reading some classic like Claremont X-Men run from the 70s, and the art is beautiful. Like the inking is like doing a lot of the shading because they know like you might have like some shading here or there, but like not like in the 2000s and today where coloring's doing most of the work for comics nowadays. Back in like the 60s and the 70s, the inking was doing most of the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
And I just think it's kind of a lost art form to a degree. But like even then, comics were disposable because they're on newsstands. And if it's sold, they rip off the cover, send the cover back, and dispose of the rest. And then when you got the direct sales, you had the push towards quality, and that worked in the 80s, 90s, and in the 2000s. You started to see the cracks, but it was still okay. It really wasn't until the 2010s that it all started to fall apart.
Yeah, but they're putting too much money into a gamble. That's why these big two are not showing their sales anymore. They're failing.
And if I can be honest, I see indie comics making the same mistake.
I do too. Yeah, like you have these boutique. Actually, John, the guest that was on today, he nailed it. He's like, I'm not going to be jacking up my prices for this stuff. It should be accessible.
Like I'm fighting as hard as I can. Like I sell my comics at $5. It's starting to get to the point to where like my go-to printer, without discount, there's the prints are $4 to print a book. Now, granted, if it quickly goes down to like 3 or like closer to 3 if you do like 25.50 and it makes it a little more viable. But like, I don't want to raise my prices.
Yeah,
but it like give it a few years and I might have to.
Well,
I'm hoping by then I'm doing trades. I'm hoping by then at that point.
I've had to. I'm actually incredibly frustrated with our printing scenario. When I printed out my manga edition, my target goal was sub $5. I wanted to charge $5 for this book, okay, for the manga edition, and because it's in black and white, it's line art. It's got the duotones or the zipatones or whatever. Like,
I mean, with the thickness of it, you could sell it for 10 easy.
That's what I'm selling it at now. I had to jack it up to 10 to make a profit.
That seems like a fair price.
It's 185. Yeah, 185 pages.
For
So
$10, that's a good deal.
Well, I'm hoping so. I hope the backers see it that way, because the color editions are 120 pages for $20.
Yeah, and it's also the reason why, like, I was doing the spot foils. Even before the price hikes, they were like $7-8 a book. So it's gotten to the point now to where when I do Screecher 4, I'm doing a sketch cover, and I'm going to have the artist like do a custom sketch for each one. Now, granted, that's actually kind of a good deal, but like I'm going to have to jack up the prices of that because it's going to be $150. But each person is going to get a unique sketch, So it kind of evens out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I wish that, like, actually, not to get political here, but like a while ago, I had a Australian friend who wanted to buy my book off of Amazon. Stupid $8 book, off of Amazon. I put it on there. He shows me from Amazon.au, his dollar dues or whatever, the conversion rate and all the stupid import tariffs and all that shit, jacked up that book from $8 to $32 Australian.
Oh my God!
And
This reminds. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, just to finish, like I didn't want to rip this guy off because I don't think my book is worth $8. Worth $32 or whatever. I thought $8 was more than enough for this book. You know, unfortunately, this is why Trump's tariffs are in effect, because Americans cannot compete in international business. We can't sell to people outside of the United States because everybody that buys our product, they get the prices jacked up from all these tariffs and shit.
I mean, to be fair, the prices are already jacked up because of like shipping costs.
Yep.
Like I remember a few years ago, I had a fan in the Netherlands who wanted to buy one of my comics, and I had like the shipping prices were like 10, 15. Like to ship a comic, just a comic in a general mailer, $30 to ship to the Netherlands.
Isn't that ridiculous? And
this is like way before. This is like early Biden administration. So like we're talking like 2022, 2023. Stuff that's like way before the tariffs came in. Like shipping international has always been a pain in the ass.
Well, no, this is why, like, everybody has been tariffing American businesses, but no, like America has not been tariffing them. Like if you bought something from the Netherlands, you wouldn't be charged import gratuities or import fees or duties or whatever the crap. Meanwhile, like I had a Canadian coworker who's telling me that it was cheaper for him to purchase a product from China and have it shipped to him than it was to ship an envelope across the street. Yeah. You know, and that's why I'm in full support of these tariffs, is that it allows us as American small businesses to not get, we're already getting screwed by the shipping. Let's not get screwed by this thing where even now, like, you know, Simon Poitier there, he's another creator. He was telling me, just tell them it's a gift, like, because it is. Like, if you have any mercantile business and you import it into Canada or wherever, then they'll hit you with all these stupid import fees. But if you say it's a gift, which technically all backing is, you're not actually buying it. You know, we went through that loophole, and those assholes got wise on it. You know, I tried sending comp books to my my artists down in Brazil, and they wanted $150 for it.
$150 just in fees.
Yeah, all for import fees, because I shipped them 5 books that they created, like that, for free. Like, again, this is a free thing. Like, you're
literally sending them a gift. It's literally a gift.
Yep. And their government said, "Oh, it's coming from America. That'll be." They weigh it and then they measure it, and they're like, "Yeah, that'll be $150."
Yeah, like honestly, like we're gonna start to see like middlemen services where like you ship it to a country where like the import fees are cheap, but like all the other countries, like let's say Costa Rica, you know, but like, oh, you ship it here, and then they ship it to the destination country, be like,
proxies.
Oh, yeah, proxies. I can definitely see that happening.
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. The only other thing is, and I know a lot of other people have been talking about this because of the shipping, is printing. Like, let's say you have a strong European audience, and because it's so expensive to ship out there, you actually have like a separate print run in Europe, where you print it like in Germany and France and Britain, and then you ship those out to the customers in Europe, because it would be a heck of a lot cheaper.
Yeah. Something has to be done, and I'm hoping these tariffs will solve some of that anti-American business stuff, because we are being sabotaged on a global scale, you know, for small businesses. But I think shipping will start to come down too if we start getting competition. If we start getting, if we start seeing more shipping options other than like the big 3, you know, like DHL is a German company, and they kind of helped, you know, cheapen things. But I mean, I'm talking about like more, like bigger, like options. Because right now, a lot of times it's either FedEx, UPS, or USPS.
Well, the big problem when it comes to comic printing is if you want stateside comic printing, really your only option is Comics Wellspring. And I like them. I actually live near the office. It's good people that run there, but they've been jacking up their prices the past 2 years because they got bought out recently. And they even moved printers and everything. I've actually been to the new site. It's pretty nice. So sorry, the rat was climbing up my arm and it was like digging in, like,
Oh, ouch.
it wasn't really that painful. It's like, but you know, the problem is they're still the cheapest game in town. You know, because like I test some stuff, there's still discounts. There's like Print Ninja, and you know, I don't like.
They're Chinese. Yeah.
I know
they have domestic. Sorry.
Yeah, like I don't know any other like printers that print like. I've done searches. There's a lot of like, oh, we do comics, and you can just tell it's like a
it's an afterthought. Yeah. Well, I mean, I use Mix'em, but Mix'em is more of a like they don't actually print; they do brokering.
Yeah.
So.
And a lot of their stuff is China anyway.
I've had it shipped from New Jersey, I think. So. Yeah, I won't do business with China. I'm sorry. But
yeah, I hear Mix'em is a bit of a roulette kind of thing.
It is. Dice. Sometimes you'll get good, and sometimes you'll get really bad, and it's like it sucks because I've unfortunately I've had luck. All of the stuff that I've had printed, like I printed out 200 editions of the manga, and 10 of them were shit. So that's
yeah, and that's something like I don't. Like I would be so pissed if I spent like $1,000 on a run and it came back botched. I would be honestly that might even ruin me.
Yeah.
So with Comics Wellspring, I at least know they do good work, and they're still like the cheapest out there. I know the people. I can literally call them up on the phone, talk to them if there's any issues. I literally go down to the printer and pick them up myself. I save myself because that's the other thing. Like for example, Indie Planet, you know. They're still pretty cheap, but their quality is not that good. Oh. Like I did a run for Screecher. Like I had Screecher on there, and I did a test run, and it didn't come out the best.
Oh no!
Like pages are misaligned.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I have it around here somewhere. I don't feel like digging it out though.
Yeah, well, you were mentioning you could go to the place and actually pick it up. To me, that's the ultimate like business transaction, because you could literally, before you even load it into your car, open it up, inspect them, and be like, dude, what the hell is this shit? I'm not paying for this. Like,
yeah, and then there's also the effect of like, okay, we have a face to the name, we know this person, we have like nice little chit chats every time to go pick it up. We like this guy. Let's not F up his order.
Yeah. I mean, you might even be able to get deals and stuff. You'd be like,
"Oh, I've gotten deals. They've hooked me up."
That's awesome.
You know, so as much as like I'm very hesitant to criticize Comics Wellspring. I'm just gonna be honest. You know, but they're still the cheapest game in town, and they do like actually do good quality, and they stand by the work. So if there's ever an issue, they do rectify it. Nice. Oh, and we have CT James saying Screecher rocks. Yes, yes, she does rock. I should have more pages for you by the next Work in Progress Wednesday. The problem is my my artist, he's in the middle of like finals for college, and so like that's taking up a lot of his time, so he hasn't been able to work on it as much. But he should have more pages by Sunday. Usually I get them by Friday, but he had to delay it till Sunday. It's honestly it's pretty understandable. But yeah, that's coming along great. I do have a new art editor. I'm using Dawson. He's a person who's been working with Jared on his comic. Cool. He's a really great artist, really nice guy. So I'm really happy to have him on the team, and it's going to make Screecher that much better. And yes, there will be a trade. I'm going to be doing that next year, but let's just get issue 4 done. And as far as the other stuff, that's kind of to return. As far as like the book, I guess I'm just doing updates. The book is currently in the beta reading phase, so anyone who backed the Kickstarter has access to the beta reading. Those are due back on May 16th, and from there we're going to work on a third draft. The book is we're probably going to be releasing it in August. That's what we're shooting for.
Oh, nice. I'm finishing up lettering. I got all the dialogue chat bubbles in for 120 pages of standard edition for Infinite Tale, and then I'm going to go through and do all the sound effects, and then it's off to the advanced copies to the proofreaders, get them to tear apart, see if we need anything to change.
Yeah, that's gonna be really interesting. Because like in my experience, there's no bigger critic than the internet.
Mhm.
So like that's why I really wanted to do a beta reading phase,
Mhm.
because I know there was going to be stuff that both me and my editor would miss.
Mhm.
And if anyone's going to tear it apart, the internet will.
Oh yeah, anonymity. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think let's do that. That'll get some good stuff done, and then
Oh yeah.
yeah. So we'll probably be doing art copies here shortly. Yeah.
Nice.
So for those who haven't seen yet, this is I'm just showing it because like people are filtering in and out. This is Charcoal. She's my girl. She is the cute and adorable.
That's right. She's a rat of color. So.
Wait. She is an ROC.
Yep.
Oh God. Don't you start, sir. Don't you start. But yeah, I think the next few years are going to be interesting for the indie scene. I know my stuff is going to be interesting because like I'm entering the phase where I'll start to be having trades. Like there'll be the Screecher trade. I'm going to try and get the Turn Samurai trade out there, and a reignited Project Access. So we're getting like pay issues 1 and 2 as a combo next year. That's going to be really exciting.
Nice.
With the original artist.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of basically, I'm kind of waiting till we finish Screecher. Then me and the artist, we're gonna talk, and like if he wants to do Turn Sam, like basically he's gonna choose his project. Either he's gonna do Turn Samurai, Quartermain, or we're gonna walk away and water in the bridge kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that works.
I mean, I just needed to get Screecher finished. So like if he's getting that done, as long as that's getting done, that's fine.
Yeah, God, dude, with all the stuff I've been going through with book 2, I got Nerium Nova working on book 3 now, and she's been knocking it out of the park. So I'm hoping.
Yeah,
that's
what I'm really excited about because I'm gonna try and do volume 2 of Screecher as one volume, which means I'm gonna be spending like thousands of dollars on like a singular artist, like the stuff that you talked about, like finding an artist and like they screw you over. I might be entering those kind of problems.
Yeah,
or not. Like I have a few people in mind. If the one person that I want to do it, if he does it, that is like dream come true. But we'll see.
Dude, I'm almost tempted to write a book called "Don't Do What I Did." You know, how to make an indie comic. Because yeah, man, like there is a lot of scum out there, and there's all sorts. It's a landmine. It's a minefield. You know,
it really is. Like not just comics, but also like the YouTube stuff. Like, there are a lot of people looking to separate you from your money. There's a lot of services. There's a lot of like different things you can buy and whatnot. Everyone wants to sell you something. Like, oh, here, like for example, I remember early on in my career, I paid $100 for a comic book creator, a well-known one who's still active in the community. $100 to like mentor me like how to make your Kickstarter successful. And I got into a call with him. He's like, build up a fan base, do this generic thing. Like it was literally all stuff that I knew already.
Oh my God. Ouch.
I'm not saying it's a scam, but it was a fucking scam.
Yeah. Well, that, and you know, there's a lot of people that will smile to your face while they knife you in the gut. And you need to understand that like documentation and, you know, like arbitrage, you know, like you can't get into a scenario where, you know, it was a handshake, you know, hey, he said he'd make this for me and then he ghosted me and I just gave him $2,000, you know. Like,
yeah, that's kind of why I liked using Fiverr in the early days, because Fiverr holds on to the money until the project is completed. So if they ghost you, you can actually get your money back.
Nice.
Now they don't want that. They encourage you to like solve the dispute.
Yeah.
But if it comes to it, they'll give you your money back.
Yeah.
And I really liked that in the early days.
Yeah. Well, even just like the social media stuff too, you know, it's like, you know, that you get the little clicks, you get all the little social things and stuff, and it's like I'm not a fan of drama. I'm old, I'm lazy. I don't care about so and so said what or so and so's back room whisper networks or any of that crap. And unfortunately, that precludes me from a lot of what goes on. Like, creative industries attract people that love drama, on and off the pages.
All right.
And you got to avoid that stuff.
Oh, great. I think
Uh-oh.
the battery. Yeah. Oh, now it's working. I was about to go grab another battery, but it seems like. Hey, Keely.
Hey.
Oh, did you hear that Hong Kong is not pausing all exports to the U.S.?
Okay. Yeah, the tariffs that they're working.
Yeah.
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 That
I don't want to go too much into it, but yeah.
Yeah, maybe this will. We are in a trade war with China now, and because Hong Kong got captured recaptured by China.
Yeah.
Dude, they changed the flag and everything. I was like, oh.
Well, that the UK gave it up, so
yeah, that was probably not a good idea. But yeah, all that tariff stuff again. Like at the end of it all, like it sucks. It's terrible, and I don't wish it on anybody right now. Especially watching. I've seen some Chinese business people just being like, "Dude, we're getting screwed," and they spilled the beans. They showed how all these designer bag companies and stuff have been lying to customers. And basically, they've been exploiting cheap Chinese slave labor, and then they overcharge them in Europe and the United States for these designer bags. Like, here's a Burke bag or whatever.
I mean, let's not pretend we all knew that was going on. Let's not pretend
now we have actual definitive proof, and it's why would I go and buy a Burke bag when it's literally a knockoff? I could go to China and get one for cheaper.
Yeah, you know how much crap women get for wearing a knockoff purse. They're all knockoffs.
Yes, they're all knockoffs, ladies. You just overpaid for your knockoff.
It's oh, look at your cheap knockoff Prada bag. Karen, look at this. Your bag is a knockoff.
Yep.
Your face is a knockoff. It's you see me? I went to Korea. I got the good plastic surgery.
Yeah.
Oh God, sorry. I'm sorry. You went to India for your plastic surgery. I went to Korea.
But
I am so sorry. That got bad.
We're gonna go through some very bad times with these tariffs and stuff, but the end result is gonna be much better for Americans and possibly the Chinese.
By the way, speaking of tariffs, did you see the new prices for the Nintendo stuff?
Did it go up even higher?
Okay. Talk about Infinitel Chronicles while I pull this up.
Okay. Talking about Infinitel Chronicles. Yeah. I've got Elf Babes, and there's this giant in the background.
Elf Babes, sign me up.
Yeah.
I'm oh, God.
All I know is I am not paying $70 or $80 for a stupid video game. That's way too much.
Just wait till you see how much Joy-Cons are going to cost.
I'm not going to buy any of this overpriced shit.
Okay. Here we go. All right. So a pair of Joy-Con 2s are going to cost $95.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
Nintendo Switch 2 cameras, $55. The dock set is $120.
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
All-in-one carrying case, $85.
You can buy a knockoff for $20 on Amazon.
A micro SD express card, 256 gigabyte, $60.
Ooh, you're not even getting a terabyte, and they want 60. Well, I don't know. I mean, I could see some argument for that.
Well, it's a faster speed, but 256 for 60.
256
even if it's a higher speed.
Well, here's what a lot of people don't understand when they're looking at the capacity storage size. Now that the Switch 2 has entered into the next gen market or the current gen market, you're looking at games like Cyberpunk that are 64. Yeah, is it 64 gigs? Yeah, it's 64 gigs. Okay, so your 256 gigs of internal storage is going to go real quickly when you got 64 gig or higher or large. And all those. You know what else takes up space? Online patches that you have to download to update the game, and all that crap. So 256 isn't shit. It should be a minimum of a terabyte.
Yeah, like I have a 512 NVMe drive on this laptop, and I'm constantly doing like the dance, like uninstall, reinstall. I need to get a 256 a 2 terabyte card to put it in here. It's gonna be so good.
Yeah, like honestly, with these next gen games, there's I can't remember what game it was. Was it Call of Duty? One of them, it was like almost 100 gigs or something. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, but yeah, all those graphics, all the updated rate, whatever the hell they're throwing at you is like, so you know, and they haven't optimized these things for storage. So you know that super affordable mobile gaming platform that you could plug to your TV that was the Switch One. Yeah, that's gone now. Moms are going to be destroyed by the sticker shock alone.
Also, when Call of Duty inevitably comes to Switch 2, you know, those take up like 100, 200 gigs.
Yeah. This is ridiculous.
I think some of them can be like 300 gigs for some of that stuff.
Oh, so the game literally wouldn't fit on the internal storage.
Imagine how crazy that's going to be when like Modern Warfare 3 or Warzone, because Warzone's going to come to the Switch 2, I guarantee it. Imagine like that comes and it's like you can't fit it on your card.
Yeah. I honestly, like, I have never been this negatively emotionally impacted by the announcement of a console in my life.
Yeah, like the console itself, it looks cool. There's not really any games. Like Donkey Kong game looks interesting. Well, it's another Mario Kart game. Okay, it's open world, whatever.
$80 for a game. I'm done. Like, I'm out. You lost me, Nintendo.
It's $80 because they know they can get away with it.
And I hope they don't. I hope this is another Wii U or 3DS fiasco. Like, they released the 3DS at an overprice estimate, and people went, screw that. They didn't buy it, and they had to like lower the price.
Honestly, we'll see, because they are selling out.
Yeah,
that's the suckers.
Yeah.
Like I think I even pointed that out on one of the streams. Like, I could put something up for pre-order and only have 5 units, and when they sell out, I could say it's sold out.
Oh, I sold out. Yeah, okay, well, 5 of them. Yeah, I don't think it's wise to sell something that's that boutique and that niche in an economically downturned market. Like, there are people that are losing their homes. There are people who can't make rent. There, you know, we start seeing shit like this. It almost feels like an allegory to what we were talking about with the comic books. Like, you gotta, you know, the $40 25-page comic or 24-page comic. Like, that's not gonna sell in this market, dude.
I think we're going to, like, I think it all depends on when it releases and Christmas of this year. I think they're going to have a strong opening. They'll probably sell probably at least 3 million this year. I think Christmas is going to be not as big as they expected.
Here's the thing is, I hope they fail, and I hate saying that because I've been a Nintendo fan since the beginning, but I hope this sends a message to them that $80, $70, like these boutique prices that are so insanely out of touch with your consumer market, it damages them. They're like, holy shit, moms got sticker shock. They're not buying little Billy this because he's already got a Switch 1. He can just play that.
Yeah, because like the thing about the Switch that made it so successful is, as I said, it was a perfect secondary console, but also the games were so cheap that people were buying Switch games like crazy. So with Switch games sold really well. I think what you're going to happen is, yeah, everyone's going to buy Mario Kart, but are they going to buy the other games?
No. Yeah, you'll have a one game system.
And so what we see happen is you start to see the death spiral. What happened with the Wii U? Everyone just shout out some like half-ass ports. I mean, they're going to put effort in because the Switch has kind of proved itself. But the Wii U got a bunch of half-ass ports, and none of those games sold well. And so what do the companies do? They pulled out. So third parties pull out of the Switch. That's not good.
Yeah, and can only first party games that cost $80 or $70, will that be able to sustain that system?
No, it's been proven time and time again. Nintendo the Wii U had really good first party games.
Yeah, it did.
Like the Wii, the GameCube, the N64.
Yep.
All of those consoles were sustained by first party.
Yeah.
The Wii was like its massive install base.
Yeah.
But the GameCube. I mean, the other thing is, if you see the thing that bails out Nintendo, it's always the handhelds that have kept them afloat, and they made a smart decision to combine it.
Yep.
But they're pricing this like a console, not a handheld.
Well, and I think they're going to scare, like, the biggest demographic that's going to buy this thing. It's not us. It's mothers. Mothers buying their sons and daughters or their kids, this machine, and I'm not going to pay that. Like, and if you have to get multiple ones of that, imagine that. Like, 2 games, you're already $160 in the hole. Like,
see, everyone brings up the inflation as if it's like some magic bullet to the argument, but like Americans, like the average American spending power, wages have not increased in that time. Okay.
Yeah.
Like wages have not increased to match inflation, first and foremost. Americans' buying power is actually less than it was in the 90s, first and foremost.
Well,
and then you also get into the fact that like cartridge, special chips. See, the thing, I really don't like this argument because, oh, look at this Toys R Us ad from like 1996. They always forget about the PS1 games, which were consistently between 45 and 50.
Yep.
Generation.
Yeah. The reason why the cartridge games were so much more money is because half of the damn console was included on the chip of the cartridge. The VFX, or was it the FX chip for the Star Fox game? That was like putting a whole console right on the PC board or PCB of the. And here's the other thing. Here's some insider baseball for you. Game development, contrary to what the myth tells you, the cost of game development has gone down considerably. The only reason why these budgets are so much higher is because they want to put Hollywood in there and they want to invest
Hollywood, as well as the staff increases. Like Chrono Trigger was made by like 20 people. If Chrono Trigger was made today, it would be made by 200 people. At least.
That you don't need. These are all like, you have corporate level people that are making terrible business decisions. We can see that now. Here in the West, we are seeing basically self-deletion decisions to these companies. Man. Yeah, and it's just frustrating to watch as these, you've got overpaid corporate people, you got too many cooks in the kitchen, you've got Hollywood voice talent that doesn't add anything. I'm sorry, but Megan Fox in Mortal Kombat 1, that cost a lot of money, and all you got for voice acting was, oh no, Prometheus. Like, it's terrible.
I would rather spend $10,000 to get Jim Cummings into the booth than spend $10 million and get no. I got it better. I'd rather spend $10,000 to get Frank Welker into the booth than $10 million and get Hugo Weaving into the booth.
Yeah, well,
you know what I'm referencing.
Yeah. but it's. There's so much like money that's just misappropriated. Not only that, dude, these big studios, I worked in 2 AAA studios, and both of them are run like ass. Like these people don't know what the frick they're doing. They fail upwards. You've got way too many people in middle management, and you've got a bunch of people watching Comedy Central on Hulu Plus on office hours.
Yeah. And it's like, and if lo and behold, you have someone actually competent, and they see him as a threat.
Oh yeah, I watched that happen, dude. I'm not saying like.
Oh, this is a Faustian bargain right here.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Which is worse? Yeah.
I'm gonna say Nintendo adults. I'm just gonna say it because Disney adults are cringe, but at least they get outside.
Yeah, honestly,
at least Disney adults actually touch grass.
Well, my thing is, it's like asking somebody what's worse, freezing to death or burning to death. At the end of the day, you're still dead.
Yeah.
Like they're just terrible. But
I just want to say, I would rather deal with the Disney adult than Nintendo adult.
I've dealt with both. Oof.
Disney adults are slightly more bearable, in my opinion.
I don't like the Disney adults because they push rainbow shit. I don't like the Nintendo adults because they're being snobs on games that have been remade.
I call them Nintendrones. That's what I call them.
Yeah. Hey, let's that 10-year-old game or the 8-year-old game Breath of the Wild that you had on the Switch. Yeah, give me $20 so that you can up the frame rate and resolution.
And not even include the DLC.
Yeah.
You have to pay another $20 to get the full
now imagine if you were a somebody that never played Breath of the Wild, and you're like, oh, I heard this game got accolades. Let me go buy the Switch 2 edition for $80. An 8-year-old game for 80. Eat a dick, Nintendo.
It's like remember when consoles got cheaper as a generation and Sony just like announced a price increase on the PS5?
Yeah.
Like honestly, the PS5 should be like $400, maybe even like $350 by now.
Jesus. Yeah, I just my thing. Maybe I'm just spoiled because I'm a PC gamer and I look at Steam and I haven't paid over $30 for a good game in like years. But I not that, but I've never been. I've never had my peer-to-peer multiplayer held for ransom from some stupid recurring fee that doesn't even go to the game developers.
Like, and here's the problem I have with Nintendo. At least for Xbox, you actually get a decent online experience for Xbox. At least you're paying. For something. At least you're paying for like when you pay that $50 a year, you're at least paying for a good online experience.
I hate to concede that, but it's true. Like Nintendo is it's decades behind in user experience. Yeah,
like the Xbox online experience has been good for almost 20 years.
Yeah.
Like from the 360 era, at least. Like I would even say like the Xbox online experience is probably better than the Switch 2.
Yeah, it is. I don't even think you can say that and be hyperbolic. Nintendo is decades behind the West, especially like, dude, Steam and the Xbox Live gaming experience is a bazillion times better than anything Nintendo has put out in terms of its infrastructure and UX. Granted, like, I mean, there's obviously an argument like Nintendo can do games and they can do games really well, but like, that's it.
Like honestly, I'm probably gonna say like if you have to get a console and you want that like console experience, the Xbox Series X is probably your best bet. Like that is probably the best value.
Well,
like
yeah, especially Game Pass.
What?
If you get the Game Pass in there, you literally got access to like, their entire library.
Yeah, but it gets all the third-party games and it runs them as well as can be. All the Sony exclusives are coming to PC anyway.
Yeah. What's the point?
Yeah.
And again, this is the first generation, and I hate sounding like an old guy shouting at the clouds, but this is the first generation of consoles: the PS5, the Xbox Series X, and now the Switch 2. They're all in the same generation that I'm completely bowing out of. And I've been a gamer since the 2600, dude. I've been there at the front lines. I've waited out in line in the overnight to get the PS2 with one of my college roommates.
Yeah, I wanted to get excited for the Switch 2, but I'm done. If they get some good games and they announce a Nintendo Switch 2 Lite, because they're going to do a cheaper console.
Oh yeah,
Switch. Maybe I'll get when they do that, and if they have the games, maybe I'll do it then. But right now, I have a laptop. I have a Steam Deck. I'm good.
I'm not paying $70, $80 for a freaking Switch game. I'm sorry. I don't care if it's the greatest, like Grand Theft Mario or Donkey Kong Odyssey. I don't care.
And you know what's the most hilarious?
What's that?
If Valve announced a Steam Deck 2 and it was $600, I'd gladly pay for that.
Well, you're also not having to. There's no recurring fees attached to it. There's recurring fees attached to the Switch too. They're holding all of your peer-to-peer online multiplayer hostage. You want to play those GameCube games? Yeah, you can't just go and buy them. No, you got to pay a freaking recurring fee for them.
Oh, that really. So here's the thing: everyone wanted the Wii U port of Wind Waker to come to the Switch. Like, no, we're gonna launch with the GameCube version.
Yeah. Let's give you the inferior one that you have to pay a monthly fee to even access.
Because they could have made Wind Waker HD 2 even more HD. A launch title for this, like have some like ray tracing effects, like goosey it up even more.
Yeah,
and they could have sold that for $70.
Dude, they could have done a combo pack. They could have been like Wind Waker / Twilight Princess combo pack.
$80.
Yeah, put them up there. There you go.
And they could have priced that at $80, and that actually would have been a steal.
Yeah, that's two games for $40. Yeah.
All right, so it's time to wake up. Says favorite 2600 games. For me, I love Defender. Defender is just so much fun. Probably Warlords. Like if I was to do like a multiplayer, Warlords is really fun multiplayer.
Oh.
You know that game Warlords?
Yes, it's the one with the rollerball.
Yeah,
The
it's
trackball.
basically it's a Pong clone kind of thing, but it's like 4-player.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like a really good like party game for 2600. But
Oh,
I
yeah.
always love Defender. You know, going back and forth, the shooting, it's really fun.
Yeah.
My grandmother had a 2600 when I was growing up, so every time I went to my grandmother's house, I played the 2600.
Man. Yeah, I liked my favorites were Frogs and Flies, where you jump from a lily pad catching flies. And we had this one game called Turmoil, where you're just basically going up and down, and there's these like rows, and you're basically trying to dodge stuff coming at you from the rows while you're shooting them. And then my all-time favorite Atari game was Berserk. So
Berserk is pretty good. Like, we had Pitfall, and oh my god, even to this day, if you load up Pitfall, it is amazing that they got that much graphical power out of the 2600.
Yeah. Man.
Chopper Command is similar to Defender. Maybe
Oh, yeah.
I'll check that out.
You ever play Choplifter?
No, it's been forever since I played like 2600.
Yeah, I think there was a ripoff that slapped on the MASH license for it, but basically you play as a helicopter and you have to pick up civilians, kind of like in Defender.
Missile Command was really good on the 2600.
Oh my god, dude, that game was so hard. Oh, damn.
It was.
Yeah, you definitely need the trackball for it too, because if you use like the controller, good luck.
The funny thing is, whenever like the topic of video games would come up with my parents, my mom never failed to mention like she's a self-proclaimed Missile Command queen.
Wow.
Oh god,
that's so hard.
Oh god, if I ever get the chance, I want to put like a controller in my mom's hand and like have her do Missile Command or something. So cool.
Yeah, because you have a finite number of missiles, and these things are coming down at you, and you're trying to protect your cities, and you're like, "Oh, I didn't kill 3 missiles at once with my my anti-missile. Shit!" And like one gets through and takes out a city. And you're like, "No!"
Yeah, I remember we had the Indiana Jones cartridge, but like, I never played it because every time I did it in, it would like play the theme, and like, wait, where's the game? Because it would just like do, you know. I know like it probably at some point there is like the game, but like, so I never actually played it.
Oh.
Berserk Smash TV inspiration.
Oh yeah,
possibly.
I think Robotron 2084 was probably the ultimate Smash.
Robotron on the 2600 was great.
Yeah. No, in the arcade it used 2 joysticks. Like you literally just had 2 joysticks.
The original twin-stick shooter.
Yeah. I mean, dude, that game, like you'll zone out playing that game because it's like the first bullet hell.
I always loved like if you took too long in a stage, you have like the smiley face come
down.
Oh
yeah, he bounces. Yeah. Yeah. Did you ever in the arcade the Berserk game would have like it was like one of the first games to use human audio voices, and you'd walk by the cabinet and it would go coin detected in pocket. You know.
Talking about Atari Arcade, the tank game, which had like the vector graphics.
Yes, so Warzone or Battlezone. Yeah,
Battlezone or whatever.
Yeah,
and then like the Star Wars arcade game.
Oh damn, that was hard. Yeah, when you go into the trench run on the Death Star.
Yeah, so for me, I'm actually more familiar with the sequel they did in like the 90s for like the special editions. Like I played that one a lot as a kid in arcades. That was so good.
Yeah, I got one for the Sega Model 3 on my cabinet, and it like the graphics are gorgeous, dude. Like you do the Hoth thing, you fight against Vader, or you do the speeder bike, first person speeder bike. Man,
yeah, the Hoth level, the Hoth level, and then you had Star Wars Arcade for the. Oh god, I gotta have like so we will be doing on May the 4th, which is a Sunday. We'll be doing a episode of Extra Credits on Star Wars games.
Nice.
Yeah, if you want to be there, you're more than welcome to stop by.
Sweet, man.
Have you ever watched the video game years? I did actually. I remember when that was coming out because I used to be a big like fan of Retroware TV, like that website. I used to watch all the shows that were coming on there, and they did the video game years. I think like it was mostly like hosted by Pat the NES Punk. I watched the entire thing. That was really great because. So the video game years, You remember like those MTV retrospective, like That's So 90s, like those kind of things?
Yeah, like
Basically,
pop-up
imagine
video.
that both video games. It's actually a really well done series. I remember.
Yeah. They even have a book on it, I believe. Pat and did Ian help him with that, or is that just Pat?
Oh, Ian. Oh,
yeah, they have their web page.
yeah. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, I used to really love Pat the NES Punk. He was cool. I even watched a lot of his podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But like as him and like when Ian came on, and like I think it was like Ian got more and more insufferable, and I just stopped watching it.
Well, the thing that kind of made me like revisit and become more of a fan was when Pat got into that big spat with Tommy Tallarico about the Amico, and he was like,
I've
like,
met Tommy Tallarico. I've met the guy.
Yeah, I've met him too. He's a nice guy, but like
very charismatic. It's hard not to get drawn into his web.
Yeah, but like here's the thing: is like Pat and Ian were coming off as like these bad guys picking on him and stuff, and at the end of the day, they were 100% correct, and they were fighting. Like, this is what a lot of people don't understand: is they weren't being assholes to be assholes. They were being assholes because they were advocating for the customer, which is what very few people do these days.
A rare W for them. I'll give them.
And that got respect from me. I'm like, you know what? These guys took the slings and arrows. These guys got all the Tommy Tallarico fanboys to shit all over them and call them all these names and make fun of them. But it's like, no, everything they said was correct. Like there wasn't a single yeah, you're getting scammed. Don't buy into this Amico thing. You're not going to get your money back. It's never coming out.
Yeah. The problem is we've had a couple of these scam consoles. Like, you remember the Coleco Chameleon?
Yep.
Like I remember when it was called the Retro VCS, when they tried to do that Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember, because it was actually coming out around the time of the Bloodstained Kickstarter. I wanted to get like a higher up tier of the Bloodstained Kickstarter, but I was trying to save my money for the Retro VCS. I am so mad because like they had some good like I did back the Bloodstained Kickstarter, but like I could have done even higher. Like, they had a physical PC version he could have gotten. Oh god. But the NES game, Star Wars.
Oh yeah,
that was the Japanese one. Yeah, Japanese
Luke,
only.
I am a scorpion. Yeah, that's only for the Famicom. I don't think the NES, because dude, do you remember Super Star Wars and Super Empire? Like,
oh god, those things are hard as balls.
But they're so gorgeous. Like the music, like the sound chip on the SNES was able to perfectly emulate that kind of music. Man.
Yeah.
But yeah,
like honestly, like some of the the thing that always makes me feel gypped out is if you hear some of like the Famicom versions of some of the soundtracks, they had like a better sound chip.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Castlevania 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think they had like an
system.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Some of those were.
Well, yeah, I think it was a Kumajo Dracula, which was Dracula, or basically, or was it Densetsu? I can't remember. But basically, I have the Famicom versions, and they sound better. And then there's the Famicom disk system, and they sound a hell of a lot better. And it's like, wow, Americans got screwed, man.
Yeah, the Super Star Wars, like all three of them, hard as balls. They were the Dark Souls of Star Wars. Sorry, it needed to be said. It needed to be said.
Oh god, I would have put that on the back of a fake game box. The Dark Souls of Star Wars games.
Oh my god,
man. Yeah.
Did you ever? Well, the thing is, the Dark Souls of Star Wars games, that's Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh god, man.
See, I enjoyed Fallen Order.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is, it doesn't innovate. It doesn't do anything new. It basically just takes a bunch of stuff from like other things. It's a fine enough game. It's enjoyable. It is a decent enough game. Like, it's fun to play through, but it does not do anything new.
Yeah.
It does not innovate whatsoever. And it's fine enough. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those games where you play it. That was fun, and like maybe you replay it every couple of years if you really liked it,
or forgot all about it.
Or forgot all about it. 10 years later, it's like, oh, Fallen Order. Oh yeah, this game was pretty fun.
Yeah, I watched somebody This is what I found as I'm getting older with a lot of these games. I'll just watch somebody else play it on YouTube because the gameplay isn't anything new or revolutionary, and I'm just watching it for the story anyways. And I enjoyed the story, but I wouldn't pay $60-$70 for it.
Yeah, that's for me. Like, I've never really gotten into like I never like. For me, I don't really see the appeal of watching somebody play a game. If I'm going to go into a stream, it's going to be to like chat with the streamer.
Mhm.
You know, the game stuff is ancillary. I mean, I guess that's kind of like it's reflected in my streams. We're like, yeah, I play games, but it's more about like coming in, hanging out with my co-hosts and like the chat.
Mhm.
You know, like, yeah, there's gameplay. I'm playing the game. I don't know.
Well, that's the thing is like sometime around 2010, like it stopped being about playing games, and like these game designs are just marginally interactive CG films. You know?
Well, you know, I mean, it's been a joke of the video game industry for like the last 30 years. Every game designer is a failed filmmaker.
Yeah, I mean, I was a game designer, but like,
Do you remember?
I
Like,
actually-
do you remember the Sillywood era of the mid '90s?
the what? The Sillywood?
Oh, yeah. Like, this is like a period of game design when like CDs were starting to become prominent,
Oh
and,
yeah,
like-
and everything was yeah.
and they're doing like the FMV games. Like, you had
Yep.
actual celebrities, like Toonstruck with Christopher Lloyd, kind of
Mhm.
stuff. And like they were trying to make these interactive movies and thought, oh, this is the future of gaming. Hollywood can now do games. It
Yeah.
kind of it lasted until about '97 or so.
Well,
Uh,
because gameplay, like that's we shit on Nintendo, but yeah, sure they may have remade the same game for 30 years, but it's fun. I don't pay people to watch. I don't pay people to beat Super Mario Brothers for me. I want to play that myself.
Yeah, it's like I tried to play Final Fantasy 16, and in like the first half hour, I picked up the controller like twice. Like you
Oof.
controlled the Phoenix, and you had that sequence, and then you booted up the game. You got the main character. You literally walked 5 feet, and it's like, oh, here's another 10-minute, 15-minute long cutscene. And by the way, we're gonna cut to people you don't even know, you don't even care about, and do all the stuff that you don't give a fuck about.
When I was working at Red 5, we just got a PS3 and we were playing a Metal Gear Solid 4, and it was a bunch of us. And we're all in the beanbag chairs playing the game, and we ran into this cutscene, and the controller was put down in front of everybody, and the cutscene was still going, and the controller turned off from active use. And when it came back time for gameplay, we're like, wait a minute, who was playing? I don't remember. Like we were just watching the damn game.
The infamous 45-minute cutscene in Metal
Yeah.
Gear Solid 4.
Yeah, like I'm sorry, but a game is an active experience. And these modern games and like Metal Gear Solid 4 did it, like you're just watching it, you know?
Or even worse, I am so sick and tired of the hey, follow me, let's walk and talk, and I'll deliver exposition. Like at that point, just give me a cutscene. At least I can go grab a drink or like have sex with my wife.
Yeah, or take a dump. Like, yeah, it's
Jump on the disc, maybe.
But it makes me not want to buy the games when I can just, because there's no replayability there. Because that's the other thing. These games, these marginally interactive CG films, are so expensive to make that there's no branching, or if there is, it's very marginal. But you
Like, why
can't
do you
get
think
dramatic endings.
Why do you think Baldur's Gate 3 has been so popular?
Yeah, there you go.
And the thing is, Baldur's Gate 3 is literally everything we critique.
Yeah.
But the problem with Baldur's Gate 3 is they made a good game
Yep.
that is like infinitely replayable.
Yeah, like the characters and the modern whatever that crap is, like I could totally, the Zoomer or young millennial stuff, like I could do without. But the game itself, at its core, is absolutely amazing. And
You don't have to have sex with the bear if you don't want to.
Yeah, it's there if you want to do it, but I'll never see that in my gameplay.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's why like Baldur's Gate is like actually has stayed high in like usability.
Yeah.
Like so many of these games at best are one and dones. Like Star Wars Outlaws. You play through the game once, you've literally seen everything.
Yeah, you've seen the story. Might as well just watched it. Like, yeah.
Like Witcher 3. That game is fun because the gameplay is fun, but even the story elements, you can make different choices. Like, am I going to romance Triss, Yennefer, or like, oh, there's these different story decisions that like don't have too much of an impact, but I can make this choice instead. You know, it's like stuff like Witcher 3 invites replays.
Yeah.
And the reason why Bethesda games work as they do is if Bethesda embraces the open world. Like the thing about like Fallout and Elder Scrolls is they embrace the emergent gameplay.
Mhm.
Like remember when Skyrim came out, and for years we always heard those Skyrim stories where it's like, oh, I tried to steal some chicken and I got caught, so I was fighting the guards, and then a dragon attacked, and then they fought the dragon, and I killed the dragon, and then they killed me, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah, I've seen videos that are like, you know, the guy goes to rob somebody's house or whatever, walks outside, and a hill giant hits him with a club, and he goes into outer space.
Yeah, and Fallouts are the same thing with that, you know, like that kind of emergent gameplay, kind of thing, and I mean Bethesda's worn that thing out thin. I'm really concerned about. All right, let's see what time percentage is. Did that come about because of women choosing a bear over a man thing? Like, I don't know. I feel like the choosing the bear that came after that cutscene was.
Well, that in the cutscene was a gay bear. It was literally a dude and a bear, not a chick and a bear.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was just more of like, hey, you can have sex with the bear. It's just like one of those like leftist like sex silly kind of things that I'm
they want to throw all sorts of weird degenerate stuff in there, but like
there's a reason why Shadowheart is like the most popular romance option.
And that's did you remember when they were throwing a shit fit about that, where they're like, we give people all of these all of these options to create a character, and they always create a straight white male, and it's like, maybe that's because that's what your customers are and that's what they want to play as. Like,
yeah, and it's why like you give people all these weapon options. Most people are gonna like sword, shield.
Yep.
Like a lot of people will just do sword and board. Like that's what like a lot of Skyrim builds are just sword and board.
Well, and then they're like, we have all of these diverse like women or whatever you can romance, and it's like everybody picks the conventionally attractive woman, and the niche.
They want the goth chick.
Yeah, like there's like 3. They give you like 10 options, okay, and there's only like 3 that are actually picked. Everybody else is like super niche. You know, It's like ordering pizza. Like my producer did this when I worked on Defiance, and it pissed us off. They were like, hey, you know the consolation for crunching for 9 months to get this fucking game out? Sorry for swearing, but like just the rage. Like they're like, yeah, you're working 90-hour work weeks to get this stupid game out because we were poor at planning. But our consolation is we're going to give you all pizza. Yay! We show up for pizza. The queue is wrapped around the building. By the time you get there, it's like weird ass pizza. Like, was it aubergine and couscous? You know, I'm like, what the hell is this? And they're like, well, you know, why aren't there like normal cheese or pepperoni? And they're like, oh, well, those ran out. You should have gotten here quicker. I'm like, so you bought 3 pepperoni pizzas and 3 cheeses, and then like 20 of like couscous and aubergine? Like, know who your market is.
Nobody got a coupon and really needed to use it. That's my thing.
But like they're so out of touch. They don't understand that like you can't go wrong with cheese pizza. Because no matter what, everybody's going to like cheese pizza. You know, oh, it's boring. Yes, but you'll still eat it. But nobody's going to eat anchovies.
Scrape the cheese off.
Well, but like what the point I'm trying to make is like if you showed up and you opened it up and the only pizza left had like anchovies and snails on it, you'd be like, well, screw this. Like, and that's happened, you know, and that's what the
anchovies I can pick off, but snails, like that just pollutes everything.
It's disgusting. And I've seen it. Like, I was like, what the hell is that? They're like, oh, that's eggplant. I'm like, oh, okay. What's it doing on a pizza? You know, and it's kind of gross on a pizza. Sorry. You know, people talk about the pineapple on the pizza and stuff as being heretical. For me, it's couscous and aubergine or eggplant or whatever the hell they call it. And I was like, this is wrong. Californians, man, I don't know what what pizza did to them, but there's a crime against nature with their pizzas.
Yeah, I mean, I pineapple, I can take it or leave it.
Yeah.
I don't mind it every now and then, but snails.
Yeah, isn't it disgusting? Or like, if I'm like, there's a reason why, even though I have Korean heritage, I don't eat Korean food because I don't like things that can look back at me when they're on the plate. You know, like, I'm like, is that fish still alive? It's looking at me like this is gross.
Yes, the sushi is so fresh.
It's
Uh,
flopping. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh.
It was literally in the water 5 minutes ago.
Well, no, like that. You ever see that video where they're like pouring salt on the salmon and all the mussels are still reacting and stuff because the fish is just recently killed? Like, this is gross. Man.
Typing pineapple pizza, you beat me to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I could take it or leave it. I'm with you, Nick. Like, I don't have a strong feeling either way. I don't see it as a amazing pizza topping, but I don't see it as like Philistine.
Yeah. Like, I'm not a fan of anchovies or mushrooms, but I understand that some people like those, and those are valid pizza toppings.
Mhm.
So, like, if I have no choice, I'll just pick them off. But
Yeah,
like stuff like a snail's, like the juices just like mixing in
Yeah.
with it, just like sounds like yeah, I'm with you there.
Yeah. Yeah. Escargot pizza. No thanks. You can escargot yourself.
Yes, S car, throw it in the car, and then get in that car and then drive off a cliff.
Yeah. But yeah, but like that was the point I was trying to use as an analogy for like when you make all of these bizarre, like niche, like romance options and stuff, and everybody only picks the cheese pizza. You know what I mean? It's like everybody wants
Yeah,
that shadow
it's
heart.
like it's like when you notice in the discussion about romance options in Cyberpunk, it's all about Pan Am
Yeah.
because there's very limited. It's like the straight males get Pan Am. Hey Johnny.
Hey.
The lesbians get Judy, who is actually kind of toxic. Yeah, there's Carrie, and then there's River. No one wants River. Carrie, I don't know. But the thing about Pan Am is like she's got some like issues, but she's loyal as fuck.
Oh, yeah, that's an attractive quality.
And let's just say she's got two very very ginormous glutes. And so get this. The first time you see Pan Am, okay, when you go to meet her, she is hunched over her car and she's working over her car.
Ooh, Megan
and so
Fox
the only thing you see, CDPR knew what they were doing. and like you're doing this whole cutscene, and you're like you can like walk around and like, but this is going on for like 3 to 5 minutes, and she like doesn't pop up until the end. So like this entire time, she's got her booty stick popping out at you. CDPR knew what they were doing, and like they got like these straps that like go around. It's like they knew what they were doing.
Yeah. Cyberpunk was a great game. I haven't played the expansion yet, but they did a really good job with Jackie. You know, like no matter what origin you pick, he's still a viable kind of.
He's
sidekick.
So easy to like. He is so easy to like, and that's the thing about his character is you actually spend very little time with him, so you only have a short amount of time, but they make sure you like him, and when he dies, it is a gut punch.
Well, you meet his family, like the heartbreak that his mom lost her kid, you know, like.
And then like immediately afterwards, you do the funeral.
Yep.
You can do like the funeral for him, which is really rough because you enter a space, and then you got like the Daryl Hannah tribute character, who I love her. I love that character. For a while there, I wish he was a romance option. But the way I think about it, it would be really, really messed up.
Yeah.
You get with like Jackie's girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Like, you know, again, there is a little bit of branching there, but it's still like I'm fairly certain that this conclusion to Cyberpunk, no matter which origin you pick, and which path you choose, you ultimately get like one of like a handful, like maybe 1 or 3.
Actually, no, there's actually a bunch of endings. Well, the thing is, there's a bunch of endings, but even within those endings, there's like branching paths.
Oh,
that
damn.
You can choose, like who you side with, like what you decide to do. And then even with Phantom Liberty, they added some endings with that one because of the way Phantom Liberty goes.
Oh, shit.
Like there's like the Sun ending, Don't Fear the Reaper, the Tower ending. Like you storm Arasaka Tower, or like you side with Hanako. Like you end up in Makoshi, or like there's all these different ways the game can play out. And they do like a little ending thing afterwards. It's really cool.
Did you ever play Deus Ex, the original one?
I didn't ask for this.
Yeah.
No. That was that. No, that's the Human Revolution.
Yeah.
Sorry.
J.C. Denton was the hero.
I've tried to play it. I can never get past the initial level.
That's a good example of a game that has a shitty first 15 minutes, and then once you get past it, the game's absolutely amazing. But one of the things that it did was, and it's weird because it's very cyberpunk before cyberpunk was cyberpunk, or at least
it literally came out the same year as the Matrix.
Yeah, or
the year afterwards.
You have multiple options, like throughout the game. The decisions you make actually start opening and closing options, and one of the options was you shut down the internet. You shut down the internet essentially, and you bring everybody back down to the Stone Age. Take away technology. Mm-hmm. Another one is you side with the Illuminati, and you basically turn the world into a global like techno-fascism. And then the third one is you merge with this AI that takes over your body via your cybernetics, and you become Daedalus, who's like this cyber god that can basically jump into the internet and come out anywhere. And yeah, those are the only ones I've found.
You know what the most freakiest thing about Deus Ex?
What's that?
Is how the first level is New York, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever notice that they don't have the Twin Towers on the skyline?
When did
it gets worse. So the game came out in 2000, I think, a year before the attacks. Mm-hmm. And the reason it didn't have the Twin Towers is because of the rendering. It's because it was too cost to render. You want to know what their explanation was why there was no two towers?
Taken out by a terrorist attack?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is like some Titan, the book Titan coming out 20 years before Titanic kind of stuff.
Wow. Yeah, that's eerily prescient.
Yeah, a year before.
Man.
I think Deus Ex was 2000. It might have been 99. No, I think 99. Deus Ex. First release June 23rd, 2000.
Wow.
So,
yeah, it came with my video card. My Voodoo 3 2000.
Yeah, the story of Deus Ex is so weird because you know that John Romero is the only reason that game exists, right?
I thought it was Warren Spector.
Okay, so basically, John Romero, because Deus Ex is published by Ion Storm, John Romero's publishing company. John Romero basically gave Warren Spector the money and like the freedom to do the game he wanted to make.
Oh wow!
And so Warren Spector opened Ion Storm San Antonio. John Romero was in Dallas.
Oh wow!
I think they did. It might have been like the Millennium series that Chris Carter did, but I remember hearing something about that.
Millennium, Lance Hendrickson.
Oh gosh,
that was a good series.
So apparently, I guess Lance Henderson is showing up in the ballerina. So that's gonna be sad.
A geriatric Lance Henderson?
No. He's been dead for a while.
Oh, they didn't even age him up. They're just gonna use a young.
No, the ballerina, the John Wick spinoff.
Yeah. And I'm saying they're going to CG him in because he's dead. Are they going to use a young one or an old one?
No, I think he filmed his scenes before he died.
Oh, okay. I didn't get. Yeah,
it's one of those things where like they filmed his scenes before he died.
You're watching a ghost essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really sad. It was really sad because he died shortly before John Wick 4 came out. Mm-hmm. And like they murdered him in that movie, so that hit really hard.
Ouch. Man.
And do you remember because he was like a really big part of Destiny 2? Like he had a character in the game and he actually played the game pretty regularly.
Oh wow.
Like they actually like memorialized, like people went to there's like a statue of him.
Oh wow.
His character in the game, and people went to there and memorialize him in Destiny 2.
Is it even there anymore? Did Destiny 2 shut down its servers or?
I think Destiny 2 still active. Yeah, they're trying to do marathon, but that is gonna get okay. The Lone Gunman.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah, they killed off the lone gunman too. They all died. Man. Oh yeah, that marathon game. Oof.
Yeah, so apparently they're trying to like reboot the X-Files again.
Wow. Is it going to have David Duchovny or Gillian Anderson? Or...
I think maybe both of them, because like remember, like they did the movies in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Like they did that movie in the 2000s, and then Fox did the limited run series. I think they did like 1 or 2 seasons of X-Files, and that did okay. And now they're doing it again.
Wow. I wonder if well, what's his face? T1000 is still around and get Agent Doggett back. But yeah, I don't. They're kind of old now. Like it, unless they're going to...
like I could see like Gillian Anderson still looks pretty decent. So does David Duchovny. So if you do with them, but Robert Patrick is starting to look pretty old.
But here's the thing: is like aesthetics aside, attractiveness aside, like in their career, they would no longer be special agents. They would be like directors, or because they've been in this field for so long. What you're saying is imagine working at a job and never having a promotion in like 30 years.
Yeah, like literally they should be like the directors of the X-Files.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a section chief or whatever.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. Director, Director Fox Mulder, like, or
even Director Dana Scully or something.
Yeah. Actually, it would probably make more sense if Scully, because Mulder was kind of a weirdo,
Yeah, he was a bit of a maverick.
But yeah, director Scully, and then you've got a younger team that answers to her, and she's like, you can talk to a guy that's been off the grid for a while. He retired or whatever.
Yeah. Basically, the plot is Mulder's been living in a cabin for like the past 20 years.
Yeah, and you can pass the torch to the younger people without disrespecting the originals. I'd be for that.
Like I could see like like it's Dana Scully, but she recruits Mulder to like be like the field mentor.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Like he's still like a manager person, but he's in the field. Whereas Dana Scully's the one who runs it. Yeah.
That'd be cool. Like I don't know. I'm a big fan of all of those. Like I was a super big fan of Fringe. I thought that was
Henderson.
Yeah. Well, what's his face? John Noble there.
Fringe was basically Fringe was the closest we got to an X-Files of the 2000s.
Yeah, and for some reason, Facebook, I followed them on Facebook. This is way back in the day, and their like community manager or whatever was like had a contest or whatever, and they ended up. I just made a joke. It was like something about how like John Noble's character like. Walter Bishop, he could never pronounce Astrid, his assistant's name. He would always call her like Asterix or Ostrich or something. So I posted that in there, and they ended up sending me the entire production book. I have the production Bible for Fringe. Ooh. It's a hardbound book. It's about 2 inches thick. It has dossiers, concept art, plot synopsis, like everything down to. I was like, this is a more extensive. Like development Bible than the one that I saw for Assassin's Creed.
I remember Fringe did like the season finale where like the character was on a train and then all of a sudden you see the two towers and like the whole thing is like, holy crap, she's crossed over to a dimension where 9/11 didn't happen. Yep. And I love that because it's like maybe 3 or 4 years after 9/11. And it just I love that because like culturally just showing the like it's like, oh, this is set in modern day. This is set in 2003. And like just seeing the Twin Towers. I love that you can just show the Twin Towers and that alone is enough of a I love that kind of stuff.
Well, they had an episode where they went back into the 80s and Walter Bishop created this TV viewing screen that could see an alternate universe. So it was like this little window he carried around with him, and not really a little, it was about the size of a big screen TV. And he's moving
that like it's rumored the Vatican has something like that, right?
Well,
it's a conspiracy theory.
Well, he was able to look at that. Like he walked around in the city and looked up, and at Ground Zero, in his, in our reality, it was just rubble. But in his reality, there was like zeppelins connecting to the top of the Twin Towers and stuff, or at the Empire State Building. and he would see the Twin Tower, and he's like, "What the hell?" And it was an alternate reality, and he figured out a way to reach in like a rubber glove to go into that reality and kind of grab stuff. And he ended up pulling out like, and this is in the 1980s when he did this, and he grabbed this weird device, pulled it out. He gets arrested or whatever, and the police put it on a table, and they're like, "What is this, Russian? What the hell is this?" It was an iPhone in the 1980s, and it was Apple, everything. They're like, "What is this?" They like turn around, like, "This is like decades ahead. What the hell?" There's like a touch screen, and it explained how our universe got touch screens and stuff. We reverse engineered something from their dimension.
So, oh god.
Yeah. Well, they got a killer Android, and it said Intel on the chip.
Oh, like just imagine in the unveiling of the Macintosh, instead of unveiling the Macintosh, Steve unveils the iPhone.
Yeah.
In the 80s.
Yeah, well, that's what he did in this universe, in that other universe, and they were so much more advanced than us that they had gene therapy, and like the intro of the show went through 3 different iterations because it's fringe science, things that don't really exist, but we put a lot of money into it. So like
the chronovisor, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Time to wake up, yeah.
Yeah, well, the intro, it would show like it would be things like regeneration and cloning and like stuff like that. You know, those are all fringe sciences. Well, they did like an 80s one, and they're like gene therapy and what is it? In vitro fertilization, like all these like things that back in the 80s were like almost never unheard of. But then when they had episodes in the alternate universe, the screen turned red, and all the stuff that they were showing that was fringe was things like astral or psychic assimilation and like soul transference and like all these weird things. And it's like, holy shit, they're so far past us in technology that the shit that they're considering fringe science are things that like we would never even consider because they sound like magic or like, you know, supernatural. God, I missed that show. The chronovisor. Yeah,
I think that was the thing that like I was talking about the Vatican have like the conspiracy theory.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a conspiracy theory that like the Vatican has like a TV screen that can like see in time, like they can view the crucifixion.
Oh damn!
Like they can see in future. It's a conspiracy theory, you know, kind of thing. But yeah, I do love like diving into conspiracy theories because they're like really fun to like look into and talk about.
Oh yeah.
But we're gonna wrap up here.
All right.
So tomorrow we'll be doing Cyberpunk, and then Sunday we'll be talking about Easter eggs and video games.
Nice.
Thank you everyone for showing up. This was really fun. As always, this has been Nick from the Phoenix Press. I can only show you the door. You're supposed to walk through it.